This episode is brought to you by Playapod, the best cross-platform podcast app for iOS and Android. Just visit playapod.com and download it for free.
We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us. So choose wisely. Subscribe to It's Erik Nagel wherever podcasts are found. And leave a positive review, won't you kindly?
You want to turn that light on behind you? You always, each week you say, I forgot.
I
mean, honestly, it's not going to really matter until he. And one day, if we go
streaming.
like Twitch or something, then it'll be a big deal. For now, it doesn't matter.
Ugh, my fucking back.
Could be worse. Could be your balls.
Ugh. Yeah, I threw my back out like a week and a half ago. I was laid up. It sucked. I couldn't work.
Right.
I couldn't do anything.
Here's a fun fact.
I couldn't get out of my apartment.
If you hurt your lower back, you will feel it in your balls.
Oh, dude, I thought I was kicked in the balls. Like, it was so bad. Like, I couldn't walk. Ugh, I had to take a cab to the fucking hospital. It was awful.
Is this the show? That'd be exciting.
no, that's not the show, but we can start it if you like.
Sure.
It's Erik Nagel, and it starts now.
What up, my Nagel? 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 Talking about George R.R. Martin, not writing. Talking Marvel versus DC, who's more exciting? Talking George Lucas's legacy, high-scoring centipede. Talking Gittles' new beef burrito recipe. Talking about Stephanie McMahon versus Sable. Talking about the Cybermen versus the Weeping Angels. Don't blink, the dialect's more deadly than you think. Talking Summer Ale, Blueberry Pale, craft beer, pouring drinks. What up, my Nagel? Deadpool 2 features Cable. Talking Funko Pop, celebrity signed the label. Talking online gaming, bitching and complaining. Talking E-Rock, kissing the feet of Matt Groening. Warner Brothers properties, Superman's a mockery. Weird Al conscious, Kevin Smith's debauchery. Rick and Morty fun zone. The Lego build team, can I have your attention? Possible Donkey Kong kill screen. What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel? What up, my Nagel?
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear.
Erik Nagel.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of It's Erik Nagel. That is me. To my right is Matt OG.
Hello.
Over in the upside down is Gittles.
What up?
And to the far right is our producer, Trevor.
Hooray. No, we're not getting political. Not far right. Just over there on the side.
Just as far as the room is concerned.
Way to go, Eric.
He looks to be dead in the center to me.
Anyway.
It's hard to move in gravity.
Yes. Lots to do on the program today. A lot of TV and movie updates. Just basic common courtesy stuff we got to talk about. A real shithead of a YouTuber.
Yeah,
that story we got to get into.
That guy's a cock knocker.
You guys were angry.
Before the show started, I was cleaning up and I had CNN on and I was watching. They were doing an interview with James Comey, and I just looked at this and go, this is just getting worse. Everything is not looking good.
Yeah, no.
And now, because Gittles and I talked the other day about, is it Mueller or Mueller? How it's pronounced his name? Mueller?
Robert Mueller?
Mueller.
So,
Mueller.
there's rumor going around that he may be getting fired too, and Gittles and I had a lot of
Mueller's day off.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Mueller's
I am going
Mr.
to put
Mueller's day
in
off.
the music right here. Bow, bow.
Yellow?
It's the Day Bow Bow song.
Right.
Day Bow Bow.
So there's word that he might be getting fired, and he's the head of this special investigation.
I don't think he's going to get
all that.
fired, for the record.
Well, yeah. I don't think so either. But I wouldn't put it past them to try. And Gittles brought up a point to me where he's like, look, there's enough going on that's polarizing this country. Everybody is just so fed up with everybody that if this happens, this might be the powder keg explosion.
Well, I mean, as crazy as it sounds, I actually... No, I don't know that I could say this with a strict fist. I was going to say I don't know if he's actually stupid enough to go forward with firing him, but I don't know. I don't get the sense. I feel like if he was going to do it, he would have done it already.
Right.
Like at this point...
Well, it might be really hard because of what he's a part of and what he's doing.
It might be really hard because he actually doesn't have authority to do it.
Yeah.
So that's part of it.
I think he just keeps like tipping his toes in the water.
Yeah.
To like test it out just to see.
He's waiting for the one day where all of his supporters in Congress are like, yeah, fire that guy. And so far, every time he says it, a bunch of them come out and say, that wouldn't be a good idea, sir.
No.
Yeah.
And look, we're not taking sides on anything
he's
here.
He's testing the electric fence. That's what he's doing.
We're just talking. Maybe he could raise on the electric fence and then
the Raptors,
solve the whole problem for everybody.
Like Ren Hoek. No, Sven Hoek. Who pissed on the electric fence? Was it Sven?
It was
his cousin Sven, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Did we lose you, Trevor?
I don't watch the news. It's depressing.
No, we're talking Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, I meant before that.
No.
It's all been Ren and Stimpy the whole time.
So
there was this one time where they tried to get Mr. Horseshoe's cat litter. It was hilarious.
There's that happening,
Oh,
and
I
then
remember that.
no, sir, didn't like it.
Las cucarachas sentaron, pero no puedan salir.
No,
No, sir, he didn't like it.
I take it back. I am really lost.
I'm just amazed with that reference that happened.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I just wanted.
Hashtag.
We'll move on to more fun things, but
Yeah.
I just wanted to point out, with all of that going on, now on the news today, they're talking about. Well, first of all, we're only 4 months into 2018, and they're already talking about the campaign for 2020.
Sure.
Like, seriously, not projections. Seriously saying there's committees being created and all this other stuff
Because the
going on.
Democrats really need to get their shit together.
But
Yeah.
what I've been seeing on the news, and to an extent, Fox News has been covering it as well, the Republicans aren't sure that he's going to run a second term, and they're now setting up things for an exploratory committee of who would take the candidacy if Trump doesn't run again. I'm like, holy shit, everything is falling apart around us.
I find it hard to believe that Trump himself would not want to run a second term.
Of course.
Unless the rumors that he never really wanted the presidency, that whole bullshit, which I don't believe either, is true.
I believe that.
He is way too, but he's in it now. He is
he's in it now, yeah.
He is way too egomaniacal to not run a second term.
Right.
Now, whether or not he gets the full support of the Republican Party is another question.
But that's what I'm saying.
I think
there's Republicans coming out saying we may be looking for another candidate.
I think Pence is damaged goods. So I don't think they could put Pence up. If Trump were to say tomorrow, look, I'm not running in 2020, I think Pence is damaged goods, which means they have to find somebody new. So
I don't think the conservatives really like Pence either. That's the thing.
I don't think they
really
either.
do either. Because remember, he was running. He didn't even get close to the nomination.
So back in the days where, look, I was watching that 6-part CNN special on the Kennedys, right? And I didn't realize how divided the Democratic Party was back then.
Oh, sure.
Between the Northern Democrats and what they called the Dixie Democrats in the South. Which is why they had to have LBJ on his ticket in order to win. But just to see where, back in the 60s and the 50s, the Democrats were really the party of not wanting integration and not wanting all this other
there was
stuff.
Big flips. Yeah.
So now, flash forward 40, 50 years later, it's kind of, flip coins. But even the Republicans or the conservatives, if you will, are looking at Pence and there's too much religion involved with this. The homosexuality thing is too big an issue to lean on your rest on your morals and your religious excuses for anymore. We got to support a lot of these things that we weren't for back in the day. We now didn't need to accept that.
I think probably one of the only good things to come out of the Trump presidency, in my personal opinion, without getting too political, is that even some Republicans have started to realize that really pushing the religious conservative issues is probably not in their best interest.
It's very detrimental.
It is
Even in the
started
South.
to hurt them more. Right. It used to be their platform, and I think it's starting to hurt them.
Well, it's starting to hurt them because they're pushing these values, but then they have a president who's breaking every single one of those values, and they still support him. That's how do you
can't have it
run on
both
that?
ways.
You can't run that. You can't run on both. You can't run on the sanctity of marriage and then have a guy who's fucking porn stars. You know what I mean?
Right. So
it's crazy.
Past tense. Fucked.
I only brought all this
as far as you know.
As far as you know, buddy.
I only brought this up because. Look, there's always been a lot going on. It's never been a slow news week since, for the last 2 years. But
2 years.
In the
feels so long.
in the recent week, there's been so much more that even blew the other weeks away. Like, you remember how John Oliver always jokes about is like, we never get a break because here's another week of stuff that we're never going to get to.
Yeah.
When he runs that. There was so much this past week where I was like, I'm not very politically active and all that, and even I'm like, this is getting bad.
There was so much this past week. The fact that we bombed Syria was in and out of a news cycle in a day.
Right. And it happened on a Friday.
In a day.
It happened on a Friday night when everyone was out at the movies and clubbing and drinking.
And by Monday morning, it was already out of the news cycle.
And that would have been they
pub Syria.
Oh my God! Yeah, it was huge. The Pentagon was on television within an hour after it happened. The Pentagon was on the little, like the presidential stage for the press conferences that they have. They were on their little stage there. They gave full details of what happened, what they did, in and out. No troops on the ground. England and France were assisting with us from all different directions, and we took it out in an hour. And now we're moving on.
Huh.
Yeah. That's where the world we live in now. Back in the day, the long ago, that would be on CNN for days, just re-showing, night footage of where they had the spotters so you could see the missiles launching or hitting the green footage from the bombers themselves or the cameras from the drones where you'd see it strike and you'd see explosions. You didn't. It wasn't like that this time. It's like, here's some stuff that happened. They showed maybe one or two things of them being launched from these unmanned machines. Yeah. And then they moved on for the weekend.
Yeah, that's it.
That was it.
I mean,
Friday.
It wasn't just us, by the way. Since I'm filling you in.
Yeah.
The UK and France was also, right? And France was also involved?
Yeah, just so that.
So, I mean, it wasn't just the US. It was several countries.
The UN approved it.
Yeah, but it was a big deal. But it was out of the news cycle in less than a day.
Yeah, no, I got nothing.
And to add to what Matt's talking about, here's what happened. We knew it was coming, right? And I tweeted out, and I wasn't being a dick or funny. Trump ran on the whole premise of he was tired of us announcing where strikes were going to happen, whatever, because it gives time to move things and whatever. So he makes the announcement. I said, but wasn't this the guy that said he didn't want to announce what we were going to do?
So you're shocked by the fact that he was lying?
No. What I found out is he announced as it was happening.
Oh, okay.
So, because that's a big deal.
Because he's also the guy that criticized Obama for wanting to go after Syria, if you remember.
So every single conservative criticized Obama for every little thing he did. They made fun. He ate fucking the wrong mustard, and they were like, he should be impeached. Yeah. Like, come on. It's
what was that meme that's going around? I remember when a bad day was when Obama wore a tan suit. Do you remember?
Yeah. Dude, I remember when Fox and Friends was
day.
Yeah, you had to deal with the fashion police, not the real police.
I remember when Fox and Friends was making fun of him because he used a really big paperclip. And they were like, look at the size of his paperclip. Oh, Mr. President, paperclip. Do you have enough money for that paperclip in the budget? And
well, you can't tell the real size of paperclips that Trump uses because his hands are very bigly.
No, those are just normal size paperclips.
He was looking for that paperclip. Where's that paperclip that helped me on with Microsoft? The one who told me how to do things. That's on his council board there.
Paperclip.
Would you like to bomb Syria? Click here. Here are your options.
Annoying little bastard.
It was only worse when they changed it to a dog.
Does not work. Control Z does not work.
He clicks on it. The paperclip turns into a missile, an explosion, and the American flag shows. And he's like, "You did it."
Trump actually thinks this is all a flash game. He doesn't know.
Ice Cream Sunday just comes out of the desk at the White House.
It's like bomb Syria and then bowling with elves is what's on his desktop right now.
Yeah, seriously.
There's a lot to be concerned with, especially if you're not political, if you don't really care.
Apparently,
it's getting to the point now where it's not saying you need to be political, but you can't not pay attention to this stuff anymore. There's too much happening.
It's in your face no matter where you turn.
That's not true.
I mean, somehow Trevor missed the fact that we bombed Syria, so he has the answer to life.
If you try really hard, you can be oblivious at anything.
Drunk in Overwatch.
Yeah.
Drunk in Fortnite.
But anyway,
before we get into the current before we get into the current stuff,
Ralph Nader 2020.
Let's go to Trevor, and Trevor, tell us some of the headlines and stuff that we missed from last week.
All right, last week we totally ignored the fact TJ Miller getting drunk and calling in some bomb threats.
Right.
That was a bad one.
He's look, the few times that we got to talk to him on this program, he's been very nice, he's been very cordial, but he was also in full promotion mode. That being said, I've also heard from a lot of people that he can tend to be rather dickish.
Right.
So I've never experienced that. I know that's just public perception of him. That's why he was off of, or he left Silicon Valley. He probably had problems there, and now with this bomb thing here, I don't know how much longer he's going to be part of the Marvel franchise for Deadpool.
I mean, when we interviewed him at Comic-Con, like, he was super friendly and nice. Like, I wouldn't have thought anything about him, but then I hear all those stories, and you're like, oh, I guess maybe he's kind of a dick. I don't know.
Totally forgot to talk about the new Lost in Space. Popped up on Netflix.
Right, we'll get into that in segment 2.
Started watching that. Kevin Smith, the heart attack special. Showtime picked it up. It's going to be on Showtime next month.
We will see, or I'll see Kevin this Sunday. I'm going to go meet up with him before his Caroline's gig in New York City for his Q&A.
Look at that name he dropped.
Nice.
Now I'm going to try
trailer.
to see if he does stuff for the show. Oh, by the way, in the vein of Kevin Smith, next week we have a bonus episode coming out with Brian Johnson and Ming Chen.
Ooh, the lolly.
So we went over there
Nice.
to the Secret Stash and their brand new podcast studios called A Shared Universe. We talked to them about all that fun stuff and more. So that'll be coming out with this current episode next week.
Huzzah.
Yay, bonus episode. New trailer for Solo, a Star Wars story came out.
Right?
Everyone saw that one.
Nope.
And there you go. And Comedy Central's newest roast will be Bruce Willis.
Oh, yeah, I did read about that.
Who's hosting it?
I had to actually read the story now too.
Does Bruce Willis have a good sense of
They
humor?
haven't announced the host.
Do you ever hear Kevin Smith stories about Cop Out?
No word yet on a host or which comedians will celebrate the event.
Well, usually with the Comedy Central stuff, they usually have Jeff Ross as the roast master,
Right.
but he's not the host.
But he's not the host necessarily.
So usually they get somebody that doesn't make any sense to host it,
Yeah.
and then usually the panel doesn't make any sense
it'd
for
be great if
roasting
it was
whoever
like
the person
Ashton
is.
because,
Kutcher.
It would be great if Kevin Smith is on there.
Because, roasts used to be people who were really close or friendly with these people.
Right, that
And-
knew
yeah.
them
Right.
personally,
And now it's-
plus the industry.
And now it's like throwing darts at a dartboard at funny people. And
Because
Yeah, when you had
you get-
Martha Stewart up there
Yeah.
for Bieber.
Yeah.
They got like those people who used to be on those VH1 shows with like the green screens. They're like, yeah, we get that guy.
Like Michael Ian
go on
Black?
Wikipedia. Yeah, go on
Yeah.
Wikipedia, find some jokes, and we'll just
Hey,
rip on them.
They
I
should get
loved when
Demi
they did
Moore.
I loved them. I think they should do Ashton Kutcher. Oh, no, wait. Is that Demi Moore? No.
That is
Yeah.
Demi Moore, yeah.
Yeah, they should just do another
By
ex-husband.
the way, so I don't watch this show, but I was flipping through on Monday or Tuesday it was on Fox. There's that show Empire,
Yeah,
right?
about it.
About it's about this family in the recording
That's
industry.
Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Empire Rec.
Failed Iron Man.
Yeah.
And Demi Moore's on the show.
Oh, really? I
Like
didn't know that.
from what I was trying to figure it out, what she was doing on there.
Yeah.
So apparently she kidnapped him or something. Like it's some weird soap opera drama going on. Then her daughter shows up on there, and the daughter is not easy to focus on. Rumor,
Oh, okay.
right?
Rumor Willis.
Rumor Willis. So she's on there.
Third place
and her
faces?
face. Look, this is gonna be really mean.
I was going to say, what is not easy to focus on mean? Are you saying she's
Yeah,
ugly?
No, it's difficult to get her proportions straight.
Okay.
She looks like, remember the remake of It?
Huh?
When he's looking at the painting and the painting becomes all distorted?
Yeah.
Where the clown's about to come at him? That's
I
what
don't
she
know.
looks.
She's not bad looking.
No, she's not good looking.
She's not bad
Well,
looking.
Eric, let me see.
That's all right. That's a miracle photo. Look, just put her name and look at regular photos.
There is
Look
no
up-
regular. Actually, none of these photos look the
It
same.
looks like if you tried to straighten
Oh,
out
okay.
Whistler's mother. That's what she looks
What?
like. Yeah.
It depends what angle. She's got the MySpace angles.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I mean, because that's not that bad
No,
either.
that
The
one's horrible.
MySpace angles. MySpace.
It's making a comeback. Facebook's gonna die. That's the hashtag.
I don't know. I mean,
going
Facebook.
around. Spacebook.
I don't think she's that bad
Yeah,
looking.
I think she's hidious.
Well, I
anyway,
mean, that's you.
moving
I-
on. She
that's your-
she was
your
on
opinion,
Empire.
She's got a tattoo, so she's out for you.
Right. Both
Not
of
a
them.
fan of the tattoos?
No, not really. They're both on Empire. I don't know why. So I was like, even more reason not to watch Empire.
Okay,
And
in this
then-
picture, she kind of looks like
No!
a tranny.
Oh, I was
yeah, she
gonna say,
kind of looks
yeah.
like a tranny.
She
in that
looks
picture.
horrible.
I'll get,
You know what it is? It's,
You know,
it's like you took the pinch figure on Photoshop and shrunk her face,
I
with
will-
it, but
I will-
kept her head the same
I will
size.
give you that. But some of those other shots, she looks pretty good.
She looks like that round thing on the regular show. If you saw that animated program. Anyway, so back
Done
to
a lot worse than Rumor Willis.
back to Bruce Willis. He's not known for having a sense of humor. Like, he would do stuff like on Letterman because he was close or he was friendly with Letterman.
Right.
He would do goofy stuff, but you had to be on that level for order to be like for him to be nice. But like, you heard all the years of stories from Kevin Smith about how impossible he was to direct on Cop Out and how disappointed he was.
But he worked with him on Die Hard. He worked with him. Kevin was a cameo on the fourth Die Hard. Yeah, Die Hard 4.
He was that
the hacker or whatever.
The hacker in the basement kind of thing. Yep. But then got a chance to work with him. And that's where he said he got really disappointed because this is,
I mean, that was really his biggest joke.
Yeah.
Terrible.
What's it going to be called? Like Laugh Free or Cry Hard?
Oh! Boo.
Sorry, I got nothing.
Should that be the title of the
show
episode?
title, Laugh Free or Die Hard.
Cry Hard.
Cry Hard, sorry. My apologies.
Put that down there. That's a contender. But it's interesting to see.
Be a contender.
It'll be interesting to see. Also going back to what you're saying about the roast, the differential in the roast. Because Comedy Central took the concept away from the Friars Club.
Right.
Before they were co-producing, because it was the Friars Club thing, right? And that's why it would be people that were related to the person. Comedy Central, I think it might have been with the Trump roast around that time, where they said, look, we want to get celebrity names up there to draw people into the roast, not people who are there to be funny.
Friars Club still does their own roast.
Right. It's not done on television.
But it's not done on television.
No.
Correct.
Because it's so dirty.
Yeah.
Can't put it on
I have
TV.
that set from the Dean Martin's Fire Roast, and I gotta find there. Somebody told me there's another set that's even bigger than the one I have, where it's uncut for television.
Oh wow!
And this one are the ones that aired on TV, and they're dirty for the time.
Sure,
they're dirty, but there was a lot more said based on the edits.
But you know what though? Even those ones that weren't that dirty for the time or whatever, but they're still funny.
They're very funny,
they're hilarious. But again, all of that humor is based on a personal relationship. The problem with the new roasts. The problem with the new roast is that some of it is just insulting because it's someone you don't know slamming you.
You're just shitting
like
on...
if I call Eric a big dumb asshole, he knows I'm his friend. We're okay. He's okay with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Not on public television.
Even if it is true.
But you know what I mean. It's you take liberties with your friends, and you're allowed to say certain things with your friends based on your relationship.
Oh yeah,
and they take that out. That's removed with the Comedy Central roast,
right? Because they all want big names.
Yeah, it's just people being mean
or big Comedy Central talent to be on the sorry, not the panel, the dais.
I don't understand why they continue to do them.
If
like
you
people criticize them all the time.
If you watch the old ones, if you ever want, I have the DVD set. You can borrow it. Some of the funniest things that are going on there, and you're right, they're not overly filthy, but they're very suggestive. Like the Jackie Gleason roast, where, he's pretty much calling Lucille Ball a cunt without saying it. And, people just shitting all over her. Bob Hope, all these legends in the industry that, you see on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You see their etchings anywhere in Hollywood, from being of Hollywood days past, and then they're just shitting on each other like you would be doing with your friend. Half of them were hammered or high. They'd have Nipsey Russell and Sammy Davis Jr. up there.
I was going to say Sammy Davis is up there all hopped up.
Yeah, when the Sinatra one comes up, so there's black jokes being made. But nobody's offended. Everybody's in on the joke, and everyone's having fun with it.
Right.
And it's just a shame that the roasts are not like that anymore.
Yeah, no, they are not like that anymore.
Anything else, Trevor, or is that it?
We also didn't talk about how Mark Zuckerberg not only knows your mom's maiden name, social security number, and her cat's name, but he knows everything else as well.
Yeah. He knows how many hairs are on my ass.
There's a photo.
I mean, here's the thing, like.
Go on.
I get all the posts about like making fun of Zuckerberg, like looking like a robot during that interrogation, but like the questions he was being, but like the questions he was being asked were so embarrassingly bad that like how could you not just sit there like an idiot? It's like people don't know how to program the VCR asking how Facebook works. Right. You know what I mean? It was fucking nuts.
Like when Ted Cruz, was talking. It was embarrassing. It's like you guys.
It was so embarrassing.
You have never been on Facebook or a computer. Like that's what those questions were. Like and
then he was like. When Ted Cruz was like, "Is there a leftist political bias on Facebook?" It's like, "Whoa, dude, you are not on Facebook."
I will say though, I was going to say I will say though that setting on Facebook that
self-destruct.
No. The one that actually tracks what your political affiliation is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I tried that. I went in there and it was like extremely left, and I'm like, I'm not extremely left.
That's what mine said too.
Yeah.
Mine didn't say extreme. Mine says you are very liberal.
Maybe that's what it was. Very liberal.
And I said,
Can you do that from the phone?
I
want to know.
I am on certain social things, but do you not hear my rants against children?
Yeah, but it's well, so I turned it off.
If anything, I should be center.
Human.
I turned it off because I wanted to see. A, I don't think it should be on there, and B, I wanted to see if it actually affected what shows up in my stream.
Right.
And I haven't noticed a huge change
I don't know
yet.
if I turned it off,
but you could opt it. I forget. You have to Google it, but it I guess based on stories that you like, or if you click play on certain videos or something like that, it kind of tracks them, and in the metadata there are probably certain keywords that it's flagged at, and it determines what it is, and then it shows you. And so the content that they choose to show you, that featured content or whatever that pops up, part of that is chosen based on this criteria.
Right.
So mine also said very liberal, and I'm like, I'm liberal. I'm not very liberal. Like, I'm not like crazy left-wing guy. I consider myself fairly moderate. I mean, I don't like Trump, but if not liking Trump makes me very liberal, then yes, I'm very liberal. But I don't consider myself very liberal.
I'm very liberal.
Well, then there's
I
a
consider
lot
myself liberal, but not very liberal.
There's a lot in the Republican Party lately that are very liberal.
Yeah, exactly.
As they go on TV more and more saying, we know where we are, but that's nowhere near where we want to be.
So anyway.
I gotta look this up. I want to know what I am.
But yeah, I don't know. That whole Zuckerberg thing was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I just found it shocking that more people were making fun of Zuckerberg and not the grandmothers asking the questions. Because that's what it was like. It was like telling my grandma how to play Animal Crossing on Facebook. It was ridiculous.
And the thing is, and they were like asking him these questions too, where they were like asking them from the high horse, like looking down on him when they were the stupidest fucking questions.
Exactly.
And they were so confident in like these questions that they were asking, and they were so bad. Like, I remember there was one guy, and this wasn't even like a terrible question, but it was just like the hypocrisy of it. And he was sitting there, he's like, Mark Zuckerberg, we have an opioid epidemic in this country, and you're letting opioid ads run, and that's helping spread it. But then the guy who said this took like $80,000 from those lobbyists. Like, so it's just like, what are you blaming Facebook about, dude? Like, ugh, I don't know.
Giddles and Trevor,
Stupid
I'm gonna text you a link to an article that tells you how to check it if you haven't found it already.
Send it to me too.
Yeah, I want to
check
it
out.
I
want to go back and fix my, my settings.
I found the article, so I will send it in the group text.
Right now, all I see is I like food and soccer.
Let's move forward with some, because we have some good stories in there.
We do. Do we want to go with the toothpaste kid, or do we want to go with the peanut butter mom?
I mean, both of them are equally aggravating, so wherever you want to go.
So that's
equally aggravating for different reasons.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with, I think the peanut butter mom is a smaller story.
Okay.
As compared to the YouTube toothpaste kid. So let's start with the mom in Target there.
Okay.
For those who don't know, there was this story that came out about a mom in Target who has her child in the seat in the carriage there, pushing around. And like a lot of moms do, they give the kids a little snack or something. Right?
Sure.
They either bring it with them or they'll go over to like the cookie aisle and get the little box of cookies or an apple juice or something and give it to the kids so that they're calmed down while they're doing their shopping. So this mom happened to have given her child a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Right.
No big deal, or so you think. So the story goes that another mom sees this in the Target, goes over and starts like lecturing this
Does
lady.
she actually lecture her in the store, or does she just go home and write her namby-pamby blog post
the
about
person who wrote the blog post is not involved.
she witnessed the... Okay.
I don't know if she witnessed or she saw the story and then wrote her blog opinion about this. So it's like 3 steps back from everything. So the story is that this mom starts getting lectured and berated by this other mom, saying it's like, what are you doing? Don't you know how dangerous this is? My child has a peanut allergy, or her child wasn't there at the time. But my child has this peanut allergy, and you don't understand how bad this is to bring it in open air space. And the mom with the child states that, calm down, it's just a sandwich. I wipe the wagons down and everything, when we're done.
Right.
And the lady who wrote the blog piece interjects in the story and says, doesn't matter if you wipe it down, it still lasts up, whatever the pathogens or whatever it is, the bacteria from it lasts like 10 days, so anybody else gets that will blow up and die, and you know how everybody likes to exaggerate how bad a peanut allergy is.
Right.
So this happens in Target, okay? And then there's the news story, then the blog piece, which is what we're going to get to now, where the lady's saying, look, I don't want to lecture this mom, I just want to explain some things to you. She's trying to tone it down, but then fucking twists the knife at the very end of it. Did you want to jump in on this?
Well, I wanted to say that when this story first broke, a lot of people were siding with the mother who did the berating.
Really?
Yeah, they were siding with her, saying that it was irresponsible. Who feeds their kids in Target? And blah blah. It was a lot of like mommy shaming.
Who feeds their kids in Target? There's a food court with Pizza Hut and everything else.
Yeah, there's a Starbucks that sells peanut butter cups. So
fact.
So that's what I wanted to get into.
So and then the blog post, and then I like that the tides finally turned at the end, and it seemed like people came to their senses a little bit. But go ahead.
My problem with this is when they're trying to explain to the lady, is like, you don't understand what moms have to go through and these children have to go through, all that. Okay, fine, but you're in Target. If she has a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for her child to keep the kid quiet and behave while they're doing everything, okay, if you see it, stay away from it. But they say that's not good enough. If it's in the air, it's a problem. You're in a store that regularly sells peanut butter, and if you go to their candy aisle, it's full of Reese's stuff, especially during Easter, where there's peanut butter cups and all this other stuff. There's enough peanut butter and peanut products in that store already.
Not to mention, and I wish we could have gotten Dr. Steve. I know he's busy tonight, but I'm fairly certain that they have already disproven that it's not airborne. I think it's contact or ingestion. So I
100% don't know about that, and only because in college I had a roommate who was highly allergic to peanuts, and I was eating a peanut butter sandwich and he broke out in hives.
You're
like literally in the room sitting next to me. So that happened. I didn't know. I didn't know. It was like the first week in the dorms. I didn't know this kid.
Right.
And I almost killed him with a fucking peanut butter sandwich.
Jiffy?
But I mean, here's the thing. Like, I understand like where the people are coming from about like worrying about the allergies, but it's this open letter I'm holier than thou bullshit that goes on the internet that someone writes, and it's just like, well, my kid has this, and it's so douchey that like I can't handle it. It's so annoying because there's so many allergies. Like, kids are allergic to wheat, kids are allergic to milk, kids are allergic to soy, kids are allergic to everything. That any of that stuff could be on the cart.
Right.
If you don't wipe it down, that's your fault. Like, I don't know. It's just so stupid.
Well, the fact that if anybody came, all right, Matt, you have a kid. If you were in a store like that, right, and say you gave your son, he's in the cart with you, you gave him something that had peanut butter.
I'm looking up the airborne thing.
No, that's fine. Had peanut butter in it, or even like peanut M&Ms, something like that, right? If somebody came over to you and started not asking you out of concern, but just started lecturing you as to what are you doing as a parent,
right?
How do you how would you react? Because I would be like, how do I not punch this person in the face?
If someone started yelling at me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd murder them.
Yeah.
I'd shame them in the store. I wouldn't murder them, but I would shame them in the store. First of all.
Enough to the blue.
Yeah.
But he's like, is this what a peanut allergy looks like?
No, but look, I'm not, I hate to say it, but I'm not responsible for your kid.
Right.
I'm not responsible for your kid. And if your kid is that allergic, where I was just reading Gittles, I think it says in very small cases, if you have a very severe allergy, it could be airborne.
Yeah.
But in most cases, it's touch or ingestion. So
yeah, like I said,
it can be, I guess,
my
airborne.
It was like extraordinarily allergic to it.
So
like, he was like one of those cases.
If your kid is
slapped him with the sandwich.
If your kid is so bad that airborne is an issue, then you shouldn't take your kid to a grocery store, a restaurant. I mean, in all fairness, right? You should not
you
take
gotta think
them.
of that. You gotta think ahead.
Because what happens if your kid is allergic to peanut butter and you're walking down the street in New York City and someone's eating a peanut butter cup next to you,
or the nut guy,
or just the fact that you're in New York City, there's fucking peanuts everywhere.
But
you go into a bar and there's peanuts on the floor.
There's the stuff on the corner.
People just throw peanuts at you when you walk down the street.
There's those carts on the corner.
I throw peanuts at people.
Yeah, there's those carts on the corner that say honey roasted nuts all around Central Park.
Yeah.
They
smell delicious.
They do.
They do.
No one ever buys them, but they smell great.
I buy them once in a while.
You do?
Oh yeah, they smell.
They're really
delicious.
good.
They lure you in. Oh,
Really?
they're
Oh,
great.
I've never seen anyone buy
Yeah,
them.
I thought they're the
delicious.
same nuts from like 1926.
Oh no, and then they also sell those candied
Yes, that's
ones.
why they're so good. They're
Oh,
like-
they're fucking.
You know
good.
what
But
they
anyway,
need to do? Quick side note.
Yeah.
Yankee Candle. If you're listening, you should do the smells of New York, but the good ones.
The good ones?
You know, the
not
honey roasted.
Subway piss.
Or the dead hooker on the corner.
Well, you can if you're going to do
Yeah.
like Jelly Belly and, you know, like
Oh,
they do
yeah.
the Harry Potter stuff. You
Is
get the
this
good flavor and the bad flavor.
Is it lemonade or Subway urine?
Yeah.
Your choice.
You decide.
You decide.
Is this Fresh Spring Dew or Homeless Man?
So yeah, I am not responsible. I'm not responsible for your child. If I want to give my kid a peanut butter sandwich, and let's take the peanut butter sandwich out of the equation. There are Starbucks in almost every Target now, right?
Right.
Isn't
Yeah.
that's like a thing
There's
now?
Starbucks in up here. It's called Stop and Shop. In most of the country,
Yeah.
it's called Giant.
Right.
But yeah, in that chain, there's Starbucks built into the place.
But they're built into Targets now too, which
Yeah.
sells peanut
Yeah.
butter cups
And Barnes and Nobles.
and pastries with peanuts. Target sells candy bars. Okay, so I didn't give my kid a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. What if I got peanut butter cups
Nutter butter.
or Nutter Butter off the cart, and I was like, here's your treat. We'll pay for it at the end. Save the wrapper.
Right.
People have been doing this for years. I know that it sucks for you and your child. I'm sorry, but I'm not responsible for making sure that your kid's okay. Carry an EpiPen, clean the cart yourself. I mean, that's on you. I hate to sound callous, but that's not my job.
right.
So you would go angry with it. I would go sarcastic with it.
I'd go angry with it if she started berating me.
But
Okay.
you don't have a kid, is what I'm saying. Like
If she started
all
berating
say,
me,
we
Do you
can
know
all-
what you're doing to your kid? Yeah, but he wouldn't stop crying.
We
Yeah.
can all say what we would do if we had kids, but
Yeah.
Matt really has a kid, so his instincts will be a lot different than what we think we would.
Because I got to tell you,
He's a real boy.
no, but I've come close to blows
Oh,
with
I
people
believe it.
before over my son, if they've said stuff, or I mean, we were someplace once. This is the craziest thing. We were someplace once, right? I wear Converse. People who listen to the show a long time or know me from
Right.
social media or whatever.
You like the Chuck
All I
Taylors.
wear sneaker wise is Chuck Taylors. I've got 42 pairs and counting.
Right.
That's all I wear.
No problem.
No, but I like them. I collect them. I wear them, different colors, different designs. I have a bunch from different bands,
Okay.
like Black Sabbath and Gorillaz and stuff like that. So I like them. Whatever, it's my thing. So I was out somewhere with my son. I was wearing Chuck Taylors. My son was wearing the same exact pair, but in his size.
Oh.
Yeah, and someone started making fun of us, which is fine. You want to make your little quips or whatever. But then this guy said, only an idiot parent and his retard kid
Oh, that's it. That's
Would
all you
wear-
need. You don't have to say anything else.
would wear matching Chuck Taylors.
That's fisticuffs.
I almost
This was
punched
at the
guy.
park.
We were at Zeppelin Hall in Jersey City. The outdoor beer. No, he wasn't even drunk. This guy. He
Oh, I
was.
thought you meant you're drunk that your son.
Took
no,
your
no,
kid
no.
to a bar?
No,
Good
it's,
for you. No, that's good parenting.
It's
Start
a
him early.
It's a beer garden, but on Sundays. On
Okay.
Sundays in the afternoon, it's like a family day.
Oh, nice.
So they have like an entertainer, and it's like clowns and hot dogs and shit, and they have all the beer and stuff. Have you ever been to Zeppelin Hall?
No,
It's
I
a
should.
lovely establishment.
I love Zeppelin.
Yeah,
Hall.
so do I. But
Haven't been in a long time.
But
We
this
should
guy
go.
was not drunk. He was with a family by himself. He was there with his own kids. I almost punched him. I had to pull him aside and say, "Look, if you want to make fun of me,
That's one thing.
you can say something about me. But if you ever say something about my kid within earshot of me and he can hear it, I'll kill you in public." Like, I don't care.
Right.
And that was the end of the conversation. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. No, you did mean it. I'm not going to kill you now. Just don't do it again. But it's like,
I love when Matt goes Rick Grimes.
yeah. So, but like,
The guy turns around and it's just double Steins to the head.
If someone got
axe right down the middle.
If someone got in my face
and then somebody
said
yells
something to my
Matt,
kid,
finish him.
yeah, we'd have a problem. We would
Lightning
have a
comes
problem.
down from the sky. Matt's eyes glow, and the guy's dead.
You can say whatever you want to say about me. I don't give two shits, but don't drag him into it.
But see,
He's a
that's what
kid's
I'm
a kid.
talking about. Like
Ah,
that
that's
urge to
un-
kill is something you don't have unless you have a kid.
Well, I
sometimes
understand it. If
that-
I was on
that
the
is-
jury, he'd get off.
Yeah, it's like no, and then I took the beer steins and I smashed his head, and then danced in his blood. No, he's innocent.
Yeah, he's fine.
totally legit.
I mean, I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. I can't.
Yeah. So yeah, I would get in her face if she came at me.
The peanut allergy thing. Look,
But
I understand it's serious, but there's always that problem of in society that I shouldn't have to change. Society should cater to me, and look, there's only so many precautions we as
Right.
society can do. Look, when your kid goes to school, We'll get into the whole school stuff with food allergies in a second, but when your kid goes to school, you as a parent have to disclose your kid has the thing. You also, I think it might be law. You have to register medicine with the school. The school nurse has your child's specific medicines, EpiPens, all that stuff with the nurse. You as a parent have to do that. It's not the school's responsibility to make sure you tell them. It's your responsibility to tell the school.
And you have to supply the school with the pens.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So when you get to this thing here where, I mean, it all started when people started to really notice that this was an issue is when it's the dumbest thing. They took peanuts off a plane. You know, peanuts were a staple as far as, getting your coffee and beverages and whatever on the plane. They don't do peanuts anymore. Why? Because of a peanut allergy.
Although I think I got peanuts recently on a plane.
Did you really?
Yeah, one of those little snack boxes. I'm pretty sure had peanuts.
Huh. I would have just been doing a little breadcrumb trail as you're heading to the bathroom. Let's see
who reacts.
Let's see who reacts.
See, now he doesn't
that sounds really fucked up.
He doesn't get off. He's guilty.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm also joking. But
I don't know if you are. You're smiling way too much right now.
I just need a cat to pet.
That's it.
Man.
Like a Bond villain.
You're like, you know what? I got a 3-hour flight. I'm bored. I already saw this season. Let me sprinkle some peanuts everywhere and see if someone dies.
But no, it is a parent's it is a parent's responsibility to have the EpiPens. In my kid's daycare.
Hey, that guy can be used now as a flotation device.
Yeah. When my son was in daycare, we were not allowed to have any peanut products in his lunch. Right?
Yes, because I think we talked about this in previous shows, because my sister-in-law had showed me this list, and now my neighbors have showed me the restrictions of what they can and can't have in schools anymore. You can't even do cupcakes.
No, so this was in daycare. In school, he can have peanut stuff. It's fine. But so what they have is they have a table. They have the allergy table. But as long as you don't have anything with peanut in your lunch that day, you could sit with your friend. So it's not like the kid's always in isolation. You know what I mean?
Man,
but
even
Bubble Boy.
Is fucking terrible now.
But there was there was a story a couple months ago. It was I think it was either Queens or Brooklyn here, where there was a kid who was at school and he had a peanut allergy, and they gave him the parents gave him the specific lunch. They had a different lunch lady there who didn't know and gave him a peanut butter sandwich, and the kid died.
Yeah.
So it's it is legit. I'm not knocking.
I'm not downplaying it. Yeah. And in that case, I mean, I know it's different human person, but that's just an idiot. That's a flight attendant putting a dog in the overhead bin. That's just an idiot.
Yeah.
Right. And unfortunately, there are just idiots. But but in general, right? You have to provide the school with the note. You have to provide the school with the EpiPen. Right. It sucks, but that's your responsibility as the parent. It's not necessarily. Now, look, we can be conscientious about it. We can try, but at the end of the day, if my kid wants a peanut butter sandwich, he's going to eat a peanut butter sandwich. That's just what it is.
Say the worst case scenario in this thing. So say the mom gave the kid the peanut butter jelly sandwich. The other mom who said she didn't have the kid there, if her kid was there and they just happened to pass and she didn't see that went on and the kid started blowing up, freaking out, and the mom didn't have the EpiPen or anything with him, God forbid something horrible happened to the child. You can't then go sue this lady because her kid had a peanut butter jelly sandwich. You can't sue Target.
But you know what, though?
What?
The truth of the matter is, in 2018, I bet she would sue the lady.
Oh, yeah.
And I bet she would sue Target. Want to bet?
All right, you can. Sorry, I'll rephrase. You can sue anybody.
Of course. But you're right. You shouldn't be able to. You should not be able to.
But
I agree.
She probably will sue. Her case probably will not go further.
That'll settle.
They'll
give her some money to shut her up and move on.
Which is a terrible thing.
I agree, because then it just encourages people to do it. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to Oreo toothpaste.
I will. The only thing left I'll say on this is that there's a really good episode of Rotten on Netflix about food allergies and about peanut allergies, and they talk about how it wasn't a big deal back in the day, but because of antibiotics that people are on now, it's destroying the gut bacteria that would prevent the what's it called? That would keep you from having the allergy, rather. And it's really crazy. And they go through all these stories, this one guy in England who had an Indian kitchen and substituted peanuts for almonds and ended up killing 5 people. So it's crazy. And then there's another chef, Asian guy. I cannot remember his name. He's pretty famous, but he opened an allergy restaurant in California where you have a note and you write down all your specific allergies and they cater to you. So it's kind of interesting.
That's cool.
But it's a really good episode, and it's not really like a hippie, like, oh, don't eat peanuts. It really explains why
it explains
people have the peanut allergy and like how dangerous it can be and how it can be exaggerated.
They also say it's partially, and this I might be wrong on this, but I thought it was also they were attributed part of it to all the GMO, all the modified peanuts and stuff like that, and there's it's.
They kind of talk about that, but it's more of like the foods and like the antibiotics that people eat and how like stuff destroys your gut bacteria and your gut bacteria would normally, and how they're saying now that the best cure for peanut allergies is to actually give children peanuts when they're younger so they build up these antibodies so that they don't have the allergy.
But isn't that the same? Remember we used to complain where these kids would have these allergies and what have you because I think they called it the Purell generation, where parents weren't letting their kids play in the sandbox or out in the park in the dirt because they were constantly scrubbing. No, he's dirty. You got to wash him down, and you're killing off everything that kid needs at that time to get sick and then develop the antibodies to get over these things.
Of course,
your active immunization.
In regards to what Rotten and Giddles was just saying there, like I don't know about you guys, but I've been to the doctor before, like with a cold. Like when you're just fucking feeling miserable and you're like, fucking, I'm going to go. And the doctor's like, look, these probably won't do anything for you, but here's a Z-Pack.
Right.
The Zithromax.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, but...
Here's some amoxicillin.
Yeah, and you know what I do with that? I don't fill the prescription. Or if they fill it for me, I fill it and I throw it in a drawer at home. But I don't take it because I don't want to over
medicate.
I don't want to take antibiotics that I don't need.
So then in 5 years, when you get the common cold, you drop dead.
Well, when my son was younger, his doctor was like, "Look, I don't want to give him an antibiotic unless I have to. So let's give it like another day.
Yeah.
As long as his fever isn't like 104, let's give it like another day, maybe 2 days. Come back, call up, follow up. If it's really bad, we'll do something." And
the mucus is running clear, not green.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, it just resolved on its own. Yeah. I hate taking antibiotics. I don't go to the doctor for like a cold. I have to be like
I took it 2
dying
months ago,
and dead.
Because I was trying to fight it for a week.
Yeah.
And then when your mucus turns green, you're like, all right, it's something. So I went to they opened up one of those 24-hour places.
Yeah, one of those urgent centers.
Urgent care, yeah.
Not far. And they said, yeah, you've got a sinus infection. Only thing that's really going to do it is just, the Z-Pack and rest. There's not a whole lot. I said, do I need to take it? And she goes, if it wasn't at this stage, I wouldn't have said take the Z-Pack, but you're at the point where you do need it. Yeah. And it was that and a steroid. So it was 2 different packs that you take for 6 days. And by like day 4, I was already better. And I finished the thing because they tell you to finish it.
Yeah.
But I was like, that I needed it. I put it off as long as I could because I'm like, this may just go away, and it didn't, and that's when I had to go and do it.
But the problem is, how many people don't just put it off? How many people the doctor gives it to them, and they take it, and then 5 years from now they're allergic to everything and they die from a cold? I mean, that's.
I was really considering going to the doctor tomorrow, and now I don't think I am because of this. Because
I honestly like. I have to be dying to go to the doctor. I will try to fight most. I've fought colds for like 3 and 4 weeks before. If I'm not if it's not running green, if I'm not hacking up a lung, if my chest doesn't hurt, I'll fucking fight that. I'll take vitamin C. I'll drink OJ, that kind of stuff. I'll sleep a little bit longer. But I hate taking antibiotics.
I dive right into the citrus.
I hate taking antibiotics.
I'll bone up on the vitamin C pills, but I'll start eating. I'll just bite into a grapefruit, orange juice, lemons, anything I can, just to constantly flood it and then at night if you're having breathing problems. The Thermaflu.
Here's a medical side note.
Yeah.
If you take any sort of medication regularly, not like just antibiotics, like if you're on any sort of maintenance medication and you really enjoy grapefruit, make sure you tell your doctor that.
Really? Why?
Because grapefruit has some really bad interactions with some medications.
Wow, I did not know that.
The allergy medicine I used to take as a kid was pulled from the market because if you took it with grapefruit juice, it would kill you.
Yeah.
Wow,
that explains a lot.
And it sucks because it was the only allergy medicine that fucking worked for me.
Yeah,
and they had to take it off the market. It was called Celdane, and they had to take it off the market.
So
I had no idea.
So if you take any maintenance drugs and you like grapefruit, make sure you talk to your doctor.
All right, Matt is obviously not a doctor, but he's speaking from experience. What are maintenance drugs? Like what falls in that category?
Anything that
I take a pill for my thyroid every day.
Like a thyroid pill, a cholesterol pill, heart medication. No, most over-the-counter stuff. You can read it on the label for most over-the-counter stuff. It'll say, but heart medication, cholesterol, anti-anxiety, antidepressants.
Do not take with citrus. May cause scurvy.
No, not citrus. Citrus is okay. Very funny. Citrus is okay. not grapefruit.
Wouldn't it cure scurvy?
It would because scurvy is literally the lack of vitamin C. So yes.
Yes.
No, but if it
just
says you can't
grapefruit.
take it with citrus, but
Yes.
it may cause it.
Yes, it's funny. Just grapefruit. But yeah, just so anything like that, just be careful.
What about
friendly note.
pomelos?
Friendly note. I was taking something and ate a grapefruit, and it was a bad day. Just saying.
I've been enjoying some of those new drugs that show up. Their infomercials on the cable news
They all
channels.
cause anal leakage.
Well,
Oh,
Those
I hate
ruffles.
that.
did this one do that? I don't know. Maybe it didn't. But it was for diabetic nerve pain.
Oh,
which
yeah.
I've never heard about. Right?
Oh, yeah, that's a big
so.
thing.
Oh yeah, that's totally.
There was this guy who drives a truck, like a pickup truck, or like a tow truck, and he's always doing out roadside calls.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the stress that he puts on there for the acid buildup, I guess, that would make him feel like he was being electrocuted all the time.
Yeah.
So he's like, thanks to whatever this pill is, now I don't have the pain anymore. I can manage everything, and I can go amongst my day working. And then they show a happy scene going on, like he's helping this lady on the side fix her car.
Everybody's always
but then
great.
while you're watching the happy scene, they're in low level telling you all the side effects from it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
there was something about. I swear it sounded like it may put you into a coma.
Oh, it
was one of the things.
It probably.
Oh, yeah, I saw one the
side
other day that
effects
said that.
include.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Death.
Yeah.
Anal leakage. Your heart may randomly stop. If that happens, please
Wait,
call
so
a
you're
doctor.
just enjoring the commercials?
He's not enjoying the medication.
That's what he said.
Yeah, yeah,
so
he's
I'm enjoying the medications I've seen on late night TV. I was like, you be just taking them?
No, the commercial because
He's got a brandy glass, and instead of M&Ms or jelly beans,
I'm just
While he's
picturing-
petting his cat and planning his peanut sprinkle on the airplane.
Erik is like he's like an over medicated Dr. Claw.
Yeah.
I'll get you next time, Xantex. Next time.
Achoo.
Bravo.
Moving on.
Go gadget hanky.
Go gadget hanky.
Moving on. I want to talk about the kid. The look. We've talked about time to time our own discontent with people on YouTube thinking that they're celebrities and that they're super famous, and the mindset and the ego that goes along with it because they have 1 million subscribers, or my video's been viewed 4 million times and they're making tons of money per video, per week, per month. Off these dumb hijink things that they do. And that's not to say all YouTube people. There's a lot of people out there who are doing very well with it and are putting out creative, well-thought programs or doing very funny, unique things.
Sure.
But then you get the other side that are, I'm going to go so far in one direction to be outrageous that people will watch and go, I can't believe he's getting or she's getting away with this stuff, and that's why they're getting all the views, all the subscribers, all the money. This one particular douchebag, he was a Chinese kid who lives in Spain.
Yeah.
And he decides to go over to this homeless person and gives him what the homeless gentleman thought were Oreo cookies.
Right.
But instead he replaced the cream with toothpaste.
Right.
And while it's all being filmed while he does it, and he turns to the camera and he says that this guy hasn't brushed his teeth since he became poor.
Yeah.
And then the guy is eating it and not enjoying it.
He throws up, doesn't he?
Something like that. And the kid is trying to explain, saying, it's like, no, this is helping you. It's getting you clean because you can't get yourself clean. It's something along those lines. What?
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't want the way that you're presenting that.
Right.
You're almost making it sound like he believed that he thought that this guy was getting clean. He was saying that to be funny and justify what he was doing.
No, exactly.
There's no way that he believed that.
No, there is no way he
not at all.
believed that. I just wanted to make that clear.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
So he does this, right?
Yeah.
And that video gets a lot of attention.
Sure.
So much attention that it starts to it flags the attention of the authorities over in Spain.
Right.
And now they're contacting this kid and there's a lot of buzz going around, and it's not just the buzz for being outrageous. Now it looks like it could be a serious problem for the kid. So he goes back a second time to talk to this guy and I guess offered him like I forgot, what is the money in Spain called?
Well, in the article, I think it was they gave it in pounds and euros, didn't they?
Yeah.
All right, so it's in.
So I think
is
it's
that
euros.
C symbol the euro?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think
No,
it's an E.
It's an E.
It looked it's an E. It's kind of like a C, but with lines in the middle,
When the
like an E. It's a euro.
Okay, so the
Yes.
euro then. So goes to give him. I
Yeah, the
guess,
E is in euro.
three. Well, it
Thank
looks
you.
like a C in the article. Gives him 300 euro to
Right.
kind of keep this guy on the level, and if anyone says anything, you're cool with it. Everything's good. It was just a gag or something like that, and so this kid wouldn't get in trouble. Kid goes back a third time, and now he's taping a video again where he's going to then. Yes, that's the thing. He's going back a third time to talk to the guy. Now him and his camera guy are going to spend the night with the homeless guy, sleeping
Right.
where the guy sleeps. And somebody is witness to this and now recognizes what's going on, calls the cops. He gets arrested. According to the article here, the Spanish government is saying that he's now he hasn't been charged with yet, but he is in jail. That he's facing up to 2 years in prison, and may have to pay this guy 30,000 euros.
He should be charged with attempted murder.
Yeah, seriously.
And punished to the fullest extent of the law.
Now, when I saw this came out, I thought the guy was a dick, and I said, "Well, 30,000 seemed a lot." I'm like, "Why would it be that for this kid being an asshole?" I didn't know until I read up more that toothpaste was that bad for you.
Oh yeah, you can't swallow
I didn't know
toothpaste.
that.
You
Toothpaste
can't
is
eat toothpaste.
supposed to
It's
spit
inedible.
out. Yeah, it's inedible.
But you always saw jokes and stuff of people, doing toothpaste sandwiches and other stuff like that, like on television. I know it was on television, but I had no idea.
Eric.
Oh, hang on, I didn't know that you couldn't eat toothpaste.
Yeah, no, it says it right on the back.
You
If
can brush your teeth
if
with
you-
it. If you swallow it, I didn't think it would be that
No,
big a deal.
it actually it
He had a
says
guy with a chair on TV. He was fine.
it says on
That's
the
a
package,
bit extreme.
If you ingest it, if you ingest too much of it, that you have to call poison control. Like
I
it's
had
Just
no
because
idea.
it tastes
It's on the
minty
label.
and,
Yeah.
and
No, I've had no idea.
So in addition to this, I think the guy should be arrested for attempted murder. That's my position. Because I think that's exactly and I know some people will say that that's a bit extreme, but here's my problem.
Right.
These schmucks, these fuckheads, jerk-offs, since that's my word.
Jerk-off,
These jerk-offs continue to do shit like this, and they never get fucking punished. Oh, we're going to pull your YouTube channel or whatever, which I understand financially hurts them, but that's it. And they pop back up somewhere. That the one guy that got banned from YouTube is still thriving on Twitch or whatever it is.
Logan Paul.
Is that the one? No, he was the corpse one.
Yeah.
He got his YouTube thing pulled. He got his Disney deal pulled, but he's somewhere
But
too.
he's still on. He got it pulled from the top performers.
Yeah, right.
He still has his channel. He's still operating.
Right.
He's just not listed in the top performers. And yes, he lost his Disney deal.
Yeah.
Plus, Logan, we talked to him at New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
He had a deal with YouTube Red for movies. 'Cause We
Right.
talked to him for one of the movies that he was working on.
Was it the PewDiePie?
PewDiePie is still on
He's
Twitch.
the racist one, and he has all that.
He's the one that he's the one that did the Fiverr about the kids, those foreign guys doing the Nazi thing and about Jews and all.
Right, but he's also the one that had all the kids in Africa holding up the signs, making fun of them, and all that bullshit stuff. These guys, and I get that that's not the same as trying to poison someone with toothpaste. I understand that, but the point is that there's never any repercussions for them. That's significant. I'm glad the guy's going. I hope the guy goes to jail for 5 years. They're not going to charge him with murder. Fucking throw him in jail. Because you know why? Because idiots like this continue to do it. And as much as the toothpaste part bothered me, because I was like, that's really shitty. You're going to make the guy really sick. He's homeless. What the fuck are you taking advantage of the homeless? Like, if you read on in the article, he also was handing out sandwiches.
Yeah, he had a history
with cat shit in the middle to children and the elderly.
Yes.
Yeah, like this guy's a literal piece of shit.
Like he's fucking scum, and he's doing it for fucking clicks. This is like a Black Mirror episode. Like clicks for views kind of shit. Like, fucking throw the guy in jail. I'm sorry, throw the guy in jail.
How old is he?
He's 20 something, right?
I'm looking at the article right now. The kid
He's in his mid-20s, I think.
Yeah, the homeless man was 52 years old. Yeah, he's a 20-year-old.
Yeah. So he's young 20s.
Originally from China. He's earned more than the first video that he did, where he gave the homeless guy the Oreos. He made over 2,000 euros just from advertising on YouTube.
Right, so that's almost what?
Who was advertising?
$4,000? No. The way YouTube works, YouTube The way
in poor
YouTube works
taste.
is. Yeah, it was funny though.
then-
No, it was aim.
Scope. Everything sounds like a gun to kill people.
The way YouTube works is they if you click on your video that you allow ads, they just run targeted ads.
Right.
Like
gotcha.
the brands that are advertising that don't necessarily know. You know,
it's like,
just,
well,
yeah.
this guy or this channel gets a lot of people under 25, so the ads will be based on
that,
girls
yeah.
under 25.
It's not like he cut a deal with someone to run it. It's through YouTube's ad system.
Right.
Gotcha.
All right. So then he did that. Then he did the second video, right? What he said in the second video was, and it says, after the video drew immediate outrage, he returned to talk to the guy, gave him some money to try to smooth things over. And he turns to the camera and then says, people exaggerate over jokes in the street on a beggar. And when I'm sure if it was done to a normal person, they wouldn't say anything.
No, you're still trying to give somebody poison.
Right. So this
you're
kid is
giving
saying,
people
it's like, you're only saying that because I was making a joke with a guy who's homeless. If this was a regular person, you wouldn't be saying anything.
I mean, this is significantly more stupid than stomping on a homeless guy's cake. Is all I'm saying. That's all
And
I'm
the thing
saying.
is, he wouldn't do it to someone else because he knows that like someone else would fucking sue his ass off.
Of course,
You know what I mean?
right?
Like,
or
he's
punch
doing,
him and-
he's doing it to a homeless guy because a homeless guy is a soft target.
exactly. He knows that like he's
Right.
probably not going to have any like legal way to fight him
He has
or like
no
do
family.
anything.
No one's going to come after him. Yeah, he's
Yep.
a soft target.
In the video, it said where he offered the man 300 euros for his silence and in a quote to attempt to reestablish his image and integrate himself with public opinion.
Right.
So it's like, I'm giving him the money. Everything's cool. You can leave me the hell alone now.
Right.
And let me go back on the internet and have the world look at me like, oh my God, and I'll just still make all my money.
Sure.
I don't want to be in trouble. Leave me the hell alone.
Yeah,
you know, that kind
no,
of thing.
throw him in jail.
Right. So
You're being surprisingly quiet. Do you disagree?
No,
Oh,
I agree almost to the T, so I don't want to double up.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I was like, we can't be friends.
I guess that
I mean, I eat toothpaste all the time. I don't see what you guys are
it's
talking about.
delicious.
his
I put it on
internet
Yeah.
his
nachos.
internet name is Reset. Reset.
Of course it is.
So where's the part where he's in bail here? I just
Yeah,
Yeah,
four
he's gonna
people
wish
yelling.
you
about
Reset
the
is
same
currently on bail awaiting judgment. Has previously offered sandwiches filled with cat excrement to children and elderly people. The court heard. The homeless gentleman has told he had been.
So in short, he's an asshole.
So the homeless person told the press that he had been in prison under the dictatorship in Romania and spent time in a mental institution, but he did not know for what.
Yeah.
So this guy was a refugee from Romania over here. So not only is he homeless and he's a refugee, you get some shithead YouTuber who's not even from that country,
Right.
Fucking with him and making money at this guy's expense.
But I mean, for the record, if he did this to anybody, it's shitty. It's like doubly
Yeah.
shitty because he's a homeless guy, I think, and it's a soft target. But giving poop sandwiches, cat shit sandwiches to children and the elderly,
I feel like that's worse.
yeah.
Giving cat food sandwich to anybody. Like it doesn't matter if children or
terrible.
elderly. Like it's
And
even worse, but it's like anybody. I wouldn't give a cat poop sandwich to a dog, and dogs
So-
eat cat poop.
Right. So I saw someone the other day was like, oh, well,
That's a good point.
no one complained about these things when, like, Johnny Knoxville and Steve-O, they were doing it to themselves.
Yeah.
Steve-O
themselves.
swallowed a Hot Wheels car and then went and had an X-ray
Yeah.
showing that the car was lodged
Like,
in his anus.
But even when
No,
they...
he shoved it up his ass, didn't
Yeah,
he?
no, Ryan Dunn shoved it up his ass.
okay.
But even when they did stuff to other people, like when they blew the air horn at the golf course,
that was so
Yeah.
funny.
which was hilarious. I laughed to this day. But no one could potentially be poisoned by that.
I mean, they were the only people who were in risk of getting killed by maniacs with golf clubs chasing them.
Right.
like their lives were in danger.
Right. They didn't pick soft targets. They really just
They
picked
ate some
anybody.
weird shit too, but they
Yeah.
did it to
But
themselves.
they did it to themselves. That's the
Yeah.
difference. If this guy wants to
the
eat
thing.
cat shit sandwiches and fucking toothpaste Oreos, go ahead. Have a whole sleeve.
Yeah.
Dummy.
Then you become a public nuisance. And well, anyway, these
anyway.
YouTubers are getting out of hand. And
It just
fuck
bothers
this
me.
kid.
It bothers me that the punishment never stops them. That's the part. That's why I hate to say it, but
Because he's probably made so much money
Right.
off of like all of his videos over the years that he's like, oh, he could probably just easily pay it. You know what I mean?
right.
Like,
So
fuck it.
a fine isn't enough. It has to be something that will actually impact this kid. He's 20. He doesn't want a jail record, I'm sure.
See,
throw him in fucking jail.
This is where the Black Mirror, like, White Christmas episode comes in, and he becomes blocked, and like everyone just sees him as the red person. Like, that's what we need. And be like, that guy's the asshole. Stay away from the red guy.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing we can ever do, right? Nothing ever stops them. They just keep doing stuff. And eventually, you need an example. Maybe this is the guy. Maybe this is the guy that makes even if this guy makes at least one person go, all right, maybe I shouldn't kick the homeless guy, you know what I mean? Or whatever. It's doing.
How often do you walk down the street and think, I should kick this homeless guy?
I never do that because I'm not an asshole.
Okay.
Yeah.
Giddles?
No, I feed them every Saturday. Like, I'm not going to kick them.
And do you ever give them toothpaste Oreos, Giddles?
If I told you.
No, that's not true.
No.
Giddles does good work down at the. Is it a soup kitchen or is it like just a cafeteria that opens up for him?
It's just like a soup kitchen on Saturdays, a church basement.
Yeah. I've seen those pictures. They eat better than me with Giddles.
Damn right they do. They want to give me Yelp reviews. I'm like, you don't have a computer.
It's like, I'll yell it from the streets.
Yeah.
Oh, Yelp reviews. Okay, I got
They
it.
just yell shit in Polish at the sky. That's what they do.
I was giving Yelp reviews to Giddles. I'm sorry, it made me laugh. I was drinking.
This very scholarly man served me a delicious meal today.
Oh, by the way, the end of the world is coming.
Hat and a hoodie.
All right.
Before we go to break, some celebrity deaths to note.
Oh my goodness, there was
So
a
much
bunch
It was
of
like
them.
everybody again. It was
so
like
much has happened
2016
in the
all over
last
again.
week.
Yeah.
Compared to the others, I don't know if it's as big as far as the public conscious, but Mitzi Shore died.
Yep.
Mitzi, if you know Pauly Shore growing up, that's his mom. She and her husband created the infamous Comedy Store out in Los Angeles, which launched countless careers.
Yeah.
It was pretty much the feeding ground for when Carson, back in the day, Johnny Carson, host of The Tonight Show, when he'd bring a comic on the show, it would either make or break your career. It was that powerful a program. And that was the feeding ground. That was the testing area for Johnny Carson's Tonight Show, where he had his people go down there to see what was at the Comedy Store and say, you know what, you're good enough, we'd like to book you Friday, or we're going to book you whatever day you're going to do Johnny Carson. And every comic from that period, if you saw the Zen Diaries of Gary Shandling. Have you seen that yet?
I haven't yet, no.
He's another one that tells the story about being at the Comedy Store and that, going on Carson and just his career skyrocketing from there. She died, and it was really sad because I saw Pauly Shore posted something a couple of days prior where he said himself and I guess her handler, her medical handler, took mom to the Comedy Store for the last time.
Yeah.
And that was kind of sad. And then she passed, I think, 2 days later. And you see everybody who has a name in comedy had a photo with Mitzi or something. Remember Mitzi, a story with Mitzi. But the best one, because it's just so perfect, was Andrew Dice Clay, who took the photo of the young version of him on the wall at the Comedy Store and posted that as the photo to show appreciation to Mitzi. It's hilarious. A photo of him. I'm like, that is such a Dice move.
I was going to say, that's all
and
Dice.
It's in the proper vein, so it was very funny. But unfortunately, she passed away. Then we lost R. Lee Ermey.
We did.
Who, if you're not familiar with,
You're
came to fame with Full Metal Jacket.
That's right.
The good part of the movie, the first half.
There is no racial bigotry here. You are all equally worthless.
Yes. Yeah. He was on that. He was on an episode of The Simpsons. He was on...
I mean, if it wasn't for him, Saving Silverman would be a terrible movie.
Thank you. I was trying to think of the movie.
Well,
was it Saving Silverman?
Really, his biggest thing was Full Metal Jacket, but that put him into such a pop culture icon,
right?
That from that point forward, he pretty much just played himself.
And he was in everything. He was what he was. He was a drill sergeant. And the stories, whenever you go back, because I love hearing the stories about Stanley Kubrick movies, about the insanity that goes on working with him. He was the only one in the history of Stanley Kubrick movies that was allowed to tell Stanley, no, this is wrong. I'm not doing it that way because they wouldn't do it that way. It would be done like this. He got the carte blanche where he would explain, I'm going to do it this way. And then Kubrick would go, okay, do it your way and we'll make it work. And everything he did, like he had the outline, but all the lines were from R. Lee Ermey. And that what made that film so infamous. Yeah, because
it's probably stuff he's all used.
Yeah, and the stuff that was written, he said this is not how it would go down. It's too Hollywood, I guess, too soft, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, who else comes with? Do you like to suck dicks? No, bullshit. I bet you like to suck a golf ball to a garden hose.
Yeah, right.
Who comes up with that?
A drill sergeant.
Yeah.
So
the original line. Oh my god, no! It was so much more tame.
Just close your eyes and suck it out of a hose, huh?
Yeah. So legendary.
Where you from? Texas. Two things come out of Texas: steers and queers. I don't see antlers on you.
So he passed away.
He did.
Then moving on to Harry Anderson.
Harry Anderson passed away.
You know him from Night Court. I know him from his time on Cheers.
Yep.
Yes, Night Court, the crime-solving court.
Oh, I like that one.
He was he started on Cheers before he got Night Court. I think that's what spun him off onto Night Court, was his appearance when he was doing his magician act and constantly swindling Sam out of like the bar tab, ownership of the bar, like all these weird little things.
I learned this past week that character that he played on Cheers was actually
his magic act.
Yeah, it was
Harry the Hat.
Harry the Hat, yeah.
Harry, if I'm remembering this right, because he used to show up on the Bob Hope specials, I think.
Okay.
Or those kind of variety things where he was one of those guys, he dressed it like a gumshoe, like an old beat detective. And but he would sit there. He was all frumpy, unsuspecting. And then he used to do before his 3-card Monty thing. He used to do stuff with money, and he did it on Cheers once, where he was talking about giving change to Woody, and Woody's dumb, so of course he would fall for it. But he was like how he was going to need a change for a 20, and then walked out with 50.
Right.
He used to do that all the time on these old variety shows and his magic shows. And those appearances on Cheers led him to spin off onto Night Court, which is an amazing. I think, who do we know that loves Night Court?
Big Kev.
Yes, Kev loves Night Court. That show, infamous, was on for 8 seasons. Then he had the show right after Dave's
Life of Dave, right, or whatever it was. It was
Dave's
the Dave
World.
Barry
Dave's
show.
World.
Dave's World.
Dave's World.
It was the
show.
Dave Barry show.
It was on CBS.
Right.
That only lasted a handful of seasons.
2 seasons.
But he what's the other famous magician in the 80s that had the magic kits you could buy? Brookstone or Brown?
I don't remember.
Blackstone.
Yeah.
Blackstone. Blackstone had those magic kits you could buy for kids. Then Harry Anderson had his stuff come out.
Very big in the magic community.
Yeah, because he was good at sleight of hand. So he had books. He had little sets come out there. I don't know. I think he might have done some animated voices. I'm
sure he did.
But he was just one of those guys where anytime you saw him, it's like, how do you not like this guy? He was genuinely nice.
And I think he's the first person from the core cast of Night Court, I think, to pass away. Everybody else is still around. Marky Post is still around, right? Marky Post,
right?
Marky, yeah,
Marky Post.
John Larroquette is still around. Marsha,
we talked to John Larroquette for New York Comic Con.
Yeah,
a couple
Marsha,
years
what's
ago.
her name?
Marsha Warfield.
She's still around.
She had a talk show for a while in the '90s too.
And the guy who played Bull, like whose name I can never remember.
Not Martin Mull.
Something Mull. Richard Mull.
Richard Mull.
He's still around
Martin
as well.
Mull is Fernwood Tonight.
Yeah, he's there. Everybody's still around. The original 2 bailiffs on the show, who were like 80.
The old ladies.
Yeah, they died.
There was 2 of them?
There were 2 of them. Marsha,
I remember the old...
Marsha Warfield was the 3rd bailiff.
I didn't know
there
that.
There were 2 old ladies that passed.
I remember there was an old lady that died, and then she came in. I didn't know there was 2.
Yeah, there was 2.
Wow.
But he's the first.
That show
from
was
the
on its
core
way to
cast.
having a real bad curse.
Yeah.
Because if Marsha Warfield died in that same position, we are killing that character.
It's done.
Don't recast it.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty big one. And before you get to the last one that I know you're going to get to,
right.
There was one other one that I think we should mention because he was pretty significant. A director, Milos Forman, passed away.
Oh, he did.
Last week as well. Milos Forman directed One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Amadeus. He directed Hair. He directed
Amadeus.
Man on the Moon.
Hair,
the
movie, or the Hair Broadway thing?
The movie adaptation of
Broadway. Okay,
but the movie was huge back then.
I don't think I've ever seen the movie.
One Flew Over the
That's the one
Cuckoo's
about
Nest.
the rabbit?
No. People versus Larry Flint.
Great movie.
He also directed the movie adaptation of Ragtime. Cuckoo's Nest is probably one of his biggest ones, but Larry Flint, Amadeus, those are really big ones too. So he was a huge director.
I did not know he passed away.
Amadeus.
Amadeus. Yeah.
Touches this.
I'm just enjoying the music that'll be playing with this.
Yeah.
All right, enough of that. So going on to the what would be, I guess, news-wise, the biggie.
For you, at least personally, but in general, yeah.
But worldwide, it's a huge news story that former First Lady Barbara Bush.
Oh my God, I wasn't even going there.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're kind of a dick.
I forgot Barbara Bush.
Oh, who were you?
I was thinking Bruno Sammartino. Didn't he pass away yesterday?
Oh, right.
I thought you were talking about Art Bell.
Oh my God, I forgot about Art Bell too.
I thought he was going to go to
died
Bruno
last
Sammartino because he's such a huge wrestling fan.
Okay, hold on. Let's
What
back
did you
up.
think?
Dude, I printed up all the prep. There's 4 pages on Barbara Bush. I got
Calm down.
2
Yeah.
sentences on Bruno.
So when you say a big one for me, and I'm like, what? Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
No, I know. I
Eric
read
was
the
a
prep.
huge
I'm the only one that
Barbara
read the
Bush fan.
fucking prep sheet. Don't throw your shit at me. No, I forgot
Eric, you
about
said that Barbara
Bush.
Bush poster in his room. Like,
Yeah.
he was such a Barbara Bush
was.
supporter. Oh, my God.
Right.
Barbara
I love
Bush
her.
lifting
Dude, it
weights
just
like in the
sounds
Miss
like you-
Elizabeth outfit. Yeah.
Sounds
Oh
like
my
you
God,
hate
yeah.
America today on the whole show.
No, I love America. Mostly.
Rewind a little bit.
I forgot. I legitimately did forget about Barbara Bush.
All right, we'll get to Barbara Bush in a second then. Art Bell died.
Yeah.
Who, if you don't know, legendary broadcaster, a
Yep.
bit of a nutcase. I got a chance to meet him when they brought him to Sirius XM.
Right.
But much to, to the legend of Sirius XM, they didn't know how to run his show right. So he wound up leaving early on in his contract, and there was nothing they could do about
What,
it.
did they put his show on too early? Like,
No,
what
they
happened?
put it on at night, but they couldn't. For some reason, they couldn't handle the phone situation because Art Bell lived. The way his show was done, it was called Coast to Coast with Art Bell.
Yeah.
It was the show that either if you were up really late at night and weren't watching TV at the time, if you were a trucker, if for whatever reason, and you just wanted to hear kooky, weird shit, he was a conspiracy theorist and big into UFOs. And he was great radio to listen to, and he would take calls all the time. Like, he would set the premise for whatever he wanted to talk about, or let you set the premise if you had something better. And then the rest of the time, he'd just be cruising through the phones, talking to people about their experiences, and he would talk to them like they were serious stories. So he's entertaining this, and then thus entertaining everybody else who thinks these people are out of their mind.
Yeah.
So he signed a deal with SiriusXM. He came in, he was doing a show, and they just couldn't get the phones working right to what he needed to do and all this stuff. And he got so fed up with them, he just said, "I'm not doing this
done."
anymore," and he
Yeah.
left. And whatever
It
they,
must have been some sort of conspiracy.
and whatever they did, they ended his contract. They ended the show right away, and rightfully so. All he did was badmouth SiriusXM, saying that you ruined my show because he
Right.
left Coast to Coast. And I forgot the gentleman who took it over since then. But
Space Ghost.
Space Ghost. But Art Bell passed away. He was a legendary broadcaster.
Sure.
Different kind of broadcaster, but a broadcaster nonetheless. So he passed away. The world of sports entertainment, Bruno Sammartino,
Yes.
which is one of those names that transcended the wrestling business. And I'm not just saying that as a wrestling fan. Back in the day, Bruno was a very polarizing figure for the Italian-American community. In Italy, in Europe, he was huge. So it wasn't just where he was wrestling. He was like Andre the Giant. He was like Hulk Hogan. He
Sure.
was one of those names that people saw him on the street. People saw him on television and liked him for him, not just because he was a wrestler. For the longest time, he wasn't really in good graces with WWE, a lot by his own
Sure.
design, not from the company. And it was good to see a few years ago.
Was it 2 or 3 years ago, right? He got into
I think it was 4.
Oh, was it?
4 years ago, they patched it. Yeah, somewhere within 4 years, they patched everything up.
Put him in the.
They put him in the Hall
Yeah.
of Fame. They're going to make a big bronze statue of him, and he deserved to be there because that business would not be what it is without, Bruno Sammartino being part of the business. He was one of those cornerstones that really made it into what it is today.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was beloved by so many athletes loved him, even though a lot of athletes, professional athletes, don't view wrestling very highly. They liked him. They liked Andre. They liked Hogan. So, and he was, all the stories I've heard about this guy, everyone loved this guy. He was just that big, he was a galoot.
Yeah.
He was a big galoot. He had a presence. You wanted to hang out with him.
2013.
That's when he was
That's when he
put
went
in
to
the Hall of Fame.
yeah.
All right. So that was in New York.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, that's when WrestleMania was here at the MetLife, which, by the way, next year it's back at MetLife. So
Nice.
maybe we'll have to go and see if we can do stuff over there.
Cool.
So he passed away. And now getting to Barbara Bush,
Yes.
I guess the fan favorite for myself. First Lady, she passed away. Of course, I try to reference everything in my life with The Simpsons, and she had a couple of appearances in The Simpsons. where one was when it was an episode called Mr. Lisa Goes to Washington, where she goes on a essay contest, and they get to take the White House tour, and they're like, look, the bathroom. They pull back the curtain. She's in the bathtub, and she's like, those damn tours. Okay, this bathroom was built in 1834.
Yeah,
like, she's doing the whole thing from the bathtub. And then there was the episode where they moved across the street from The Simpsons, where my favorite line is George Bush saying, my wife Barb is a whiz with the cold drinks. So she comes out offering lemonade to the Flanders family. But definitely an interesting figure, depending on which side of your politics you lie on, you liked her or hated her. But for what she did in The Office, was, very graceful, very, she did a lot for reading. For literacy in this country. Even when she was out of office, she was doing those, that program that you see in libraries.
Only would have helped two of her sons.
those posters you see in the libraries that say read, and that always have celebrities like, Oprah was on there, Arnold was on there.
It was weird because you're right. Even if you didn't necessarily agree with all of her politics, somehow she kind of felt like she was the first lady, but she kind of felt like the first grandma at some point.
She was totally,
She had that mom quality all the time.
Yeah, right. She
had that old-fashioned grandmother quality to her. Yeah. But I think her funeral is at the time of this comes out, so I would be today if you're hearing this show. I think it's later today. No, but it's going to be on TV. I'll flip between that and the Greatest Royal Rumble live from Saudi Arabia on the WWE Network.
Nice.
That's what
you have your day planned out.
That's pretty much my day going to be tomorrow to watch the funeral procession and this weird pay-per-view they're doing in the middle of the day out in Saudi Arabia. Before we go to break, I want to just update you on a couple of things. Round 2 of the eBay stuff is going on right now. If you're listening to this when it comes out on Friday, it's the last day. So if you want to go over there, links are up on our social media. It's Erik Nagel. So you can find the links to the auction if you want to bid on anything there. The money goes to help us out here with studio upgrades, equipment upgrades, and the video server that we're trying to put in there. So I didn't want to sell any of this stuff, but times change. You got to do what you got to do. Sure. So we're putting some stuff out there that hopefully you would enjoy and give a good home to. So if you can donate. If you can bid on the items and help us out here, we really appreciate it. Round 1 went very well. We're in the process of getting the new equipment for Gittle's new studio that we're going to build when he moves over there to the new place. And round 2 will go towards the video server and hopefully get everything else up and running.
And za.
Did you have something?
Oh yeah, but with the Barbara Bush thing, did you see the Fresno State professor that tweeted out right after she died?
No.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. She tweeted out like.
But she's not going to get fired though.
That's what she says she's not going to do.
No, but they're not going to fire her. It's going to be.
Well, the tweet was like.
What did she actually say? I forgot.
She said she called her a racist and a homophobe and all this stuff, and good that she's died. And then she wrote like stupid millennials speak bye. Like that.
No, she should.
And then she wrote that she's never been. There was never been a more gracious, caring, loving racist who's raised 2 war criminals of sons, and then went on with all this other stuff. And then the second tweet was, "And I won't get fired for this."
Yeah, right. Which I mean, for that hubris alone, I hope she gets fired. Look, if you kind of feel like it, and everybody's gonna scream freedom of speech and and she shouldn't get fired because you're stupid and you don't understand what freedom of speech means. So you're an idiot, but she should get fired. You shouldn't be a professor, or you shouldn't be in that kind of public position and be saying stupid shit like that on Twitter. Sorry.
Look, even
what are you, the president?
Even people who were on different political sides, like President Clinton came out and said very nice things about her.
Of course.
And he's on the exact
Everyone
opposite
usually
side.
comes out.
All right, first of all, she's dead. Leave the poor woman alone.
Yeah.
All right?
No, you're allowed to say nice things if she's dead.
No, I'm talking about the professor.
She always wore nice shoes.
She was very well dressed. She smelt of lavender.
And elderberries.
Oh, do you think she smelled like old lady towards the end there?
Here's the
that
thing.
awful that old lady grandma smell?
I bet you could see right through her hands.
Like a Metroid?
Yeah, dude.
The quote was, Barbara Bush was a
Metroid
generous and smart and amazing racist who, along with her husband, raised a war criminal. That was her main tweet. I'm happy the witch is dead. Can't wait for the rest of her family to fall to their demise the way 1.5 million Iraqis did. Bye.
Yeah, no. You should be. You could say that and be a schmuck on the internet, but you shouldn't be a professor. And she's a professor, right?
Right. And
yeah, you shouldn't be a professor.
Then at Fresno, University in Fresno.
Which is shocking because California isn't exactly.
Well, is Fresno north enough to be the conservative part of California?
Is it? I don't know.
Because do you ever see that map of if California split up, it would split into 3 different states?
Yeah.
Where it's like, wow, that's really weird. It's not geographical at all.
Yeah,
it's
right.
just political. I'm trying to see where she's.
Yeah, it's like weed country.
Yeah.
Wine country. And then coffee.
Hollywood. California State University
Upper Tijuana.
at Fresno.
Yeah.
But she also, when the press reached out to her and everything, she said she was tweeting out, "Look at the racists going crazy in my mentions right now," and then saying, "I'm a professor. I make $100,000 a year. I have tenure. I'll never be fired. Go ahead." And because they were attaching the president of the university and stuff,
Right.
and she said, "Go ahead, attach him." And she goes, "I'll never be fired." And then she received notice from the president's office that you were to, I guess, suspended at the point.
She's under review.
Yeah, I don't know if she's going to be fired.
They should terminate her.
Right.
Look,
First of all, you're Fresno State.
And second of all, you want to have that opinion. I mean, that's your opinion. I may not necessarily disagree with it entirely, whatever. You want to say that amongst your friends at Starbucks, whatever,
Yeah,
that's
go for
fine.
it.
Don't fucking put it on Twitter, dummy.
Yeah.
Don't say it in your classroom. That's the other stupid thing. Don't say it in your classroom, dummy.
You can have certain decor when necessary.
Yeah,
and
come on,
and the whole
man.
freedom of speech thing, like Matt said, people don't understand what your freedom of speech means. You can say it.
Oh, you can say
but
whatever
you
you
have
want.
to suffer the repercussions of it.
You're not free
so
from
it's like I'm
repercussion.
allowed to say all this stuff, right? But you work for a government organization or you work for a private business. They have the right to terminate you
Of
if your
course.
views are not reflecting what the image of the company is.
Absolutely.
And then
she's not going to jail. That's
Right.
what freedom of speech means.
You're not going to jail, but
Yeah.
you're not working here anymore.
Right.
That's what it
She's
comes
not
down
being
to.
But she
prosecuted.
But I feel like at the end, it just hurts all other professors overall because that bloggers are going to take it and be like, look what all these crazy liberal professors are saying and and
Of
it's
course,
just
yeah.
and it's it sets she'll just be an example that they'll just use to just take down every professor, all teachers, and all this shit. And it's just dude, just don't talk. Shut your mouth.
Like that one professor, that other nutty liberal professor.
X?
No, the one, the one a couple years ago at, was it in Missouri or some shit? Remember the one that hit the? There was a protest
This
there.
was during the torch rallies, right?
Was that what that was? And
Yeah.
she attacked someone from the
atta-
press.
Yeah, she punched a camera guy.
Yeah, that fucking lunatic. She
Because
was another
get out
liberal
of our
nut
safe
bar.
space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Get out of our safe space.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Doesn't sound very safe if you're punching people.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that was a very heavy segment. So
It was.
let's take a break. We'll regroup and come back. We'll go over the latest with TV and movies and then get out of here
Yes,
for the
please.
week. All right. Anything to promote? Nothing?
Oh, I would like to promote that I have to use the bathroom.
I
All
do
right.
too.
Let us go do that. We'll hold each other's things.
No.
And we'll be
Ugh,
right back.
I'm in the upside down. Fuck that.
Does that mean you'll pee in your face?
It's Erik Nagel. Eric, Matt, I think Gittles is in there too. Anyway, the show will be right back.
Attention. Shameless social media plug.
Erik Nagel is on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and reluctantly, Snapchat. So follow, like, and subscribe. Would you kindly?
Hey, this is Seth Rogen. You're listening to It's Erik Nagel.
Welcome back to It's Erik Nagel. That is me, Matt OG to my right.
Hey, yo.
Gittles in the upside down.
up?
And Trevor to the far right over there.
I have a lot of chips in my mouth.
That's all good. Looking at the box office for this past week, number
I heard
one.
a lot of tips in his mouth. I'm just saying.
Number one at the box office, no surprise, Rampage.
That was surprising to me.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a rock movie. It's always going to do number one, and it doesn't mean it's quality.
I
It's
saw
just- You did? What'd you think?
Well, I had Movie Pass, so that's why I went and saw it.
right.
But you know what? It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be pretty stupid, and it was stupid, but it was also a really fun popcorn movie. Like, it felt like it should have been out in the middle of the summer. You know what I mean? It's like more one of those kind of movies.
So it's a good, bad movie.
Yeah, like it's very entertaining. They poke fun at themselves. Like there's Rampage arcade games in it, and like they throw references to the video game here and there. It's a very tongue-in-cheek movie, but it's good.
To tie into that, if you go to a Dave & Buster's, if it's near you, they redid Rampage the game as a 4-person or 3-person game in the center of the facility, so you can go there on a big screen and you're playing.
I would hope so, with how much product placement Dave & Buster's had in this movie.
Right,
but yes.
So the game is available for you to go and play. I want
to play Rampage now.
I'm sure it's like $1 to play for one life.
I know.
What was your go-to on that one?
Lizzie, I think I played.
Yeah, me too.
I did Lizzie as well. Number 2, A Quiet Place, which was number 1 last week, doing very well, 82.6 million. Heard nothing but good things about that movie.
Yeah,
and I want to go see it.
Samesies.
It was really good.
Yeah, you saw that one last week.
Yeah, man, because I got Movie Pass. I see everything now.
Oh wow, fucking fancy pants or some shit.
Yeah, I do have fancy pants. They're
fucking Yankee blue jeans.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a professor.
Number 3, Truth or Dare, which is the movie I refuse to see. Number 4, wow, it really dropped from down Ready Player One.
Yeah, but Ready Player One has been out almost a month.
I think this is week 3.
This is its 4th week.
But it's still in the top 5.
Still in the top 5. That's not that bad.
Yeah,
maybe it is week 3. I don't know.
I think it's
dropped
week 3.
down from number 2 to number 4.
Did you see it, Matt?
No, I still know.
It's brought in $181 million.
Not because I don't want to. I don't have time to go to the movies.
Yeah.
Number 5 is Blockers. I don't remember what. Oh, that's the John Cena movie.
Yeah.
Right.
I heard that's actually pretty good.
Opening up this weekend is nothing really important except for Super Troopers 2.
Right.
So definitely go see
Got my
that.
tickets already.
It's
I'm so pumped.
It's the calm before the summer storm, because after this weekend, the following weekend, Avengers Infinity Wars.
Right. So the movies that I'll be seeing in the theater probably for the remainder of the year are Avengers Infinity War, Solo, Deadpool 2, and Ant-Man and Wasp. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can be on board with that.
Yeah, those are probably the 4 I'll see between now and
You know who got
screwed?
screwed the most by Infinity War?
Who?
Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
Because that movie's been planned to come out for that weekend for a while, and then they bumped up Infinity War. She's so screwed.
Yeah, because also that week is I Feel Pretty, which is the Amy Schumer movie, Animal Crackers, which I was wondering if it was a Marx Brothers remake, and it's not. It's an animated. Look, usually when an adult movie comes out, they always have the animated film, whatever. So if you have kids, you could take them to that instead. But Avengers is a kids movie and an adult movie. I don't know why you'd go see anything else. But Animal Crackers, it's an animated movie about these people that have a circus, and that they have a box of magic animal crackers that help them.
Is Thanos in it? Then I don't care.
Yes, Josh Brolin plays the elephant. And,
nice.
Yeah, so they're trying to save a circus, which who cares about at this point? And then another movie called Traffic. This is like the 4th movie I know called Traffic.
Speaking of Josh Brolin, did you guys watch the new Deadpool trailer?
Yes.
I think that came out today.
I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
today? No.
Or was yesterday, maybe?
Is it
It
the
said-
one where
it
he's
said it was
shooting
the
him on
final
the subway?
trailer today.
Yeah. Yeah, where I like how he calls him One-Eyed Willie
I
and
missed it.
Thanos during the course of that trailer.
He does?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to go back and watch
pull that
That's funny.
Any idea who the kid is?
No.
They're trying to say?
No,
Oh, the
I
chubby
forget.
kid?
Yeah, I forget.
Is the kid really not? I mean, is he just
I think he's
something to
new.
move it along, or is he not really important?
It must be important. Cable's coming back to
I'm
kill him.
assuming he's important, but
Yeah.
I don't know who he is.
Okay.
Who?
This fat kid in the Deadpool movie.
Oh, I think it's Robin from Batman and Robin.
No. It is
Chris
not that.
O'Donnell?
No, it is not that either.
And then coming out on DVD, The Post, which I want to see, which is Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks. The Commuter, The Only Living Boy in New York. Don't know what that is. Perfect Strangers Season 3, Trevor.
What?
Okay.
Is it Perfect Strangers, you
Yes,
said?
Perfect Strangers Season 3 coming out on DVD and Blu-ray.
Did you see they
It
added
is.
Carrie
And,
Elwes and Jake Busey?
The what?
Yeah.
They added Carrie Elwes and Jake Busey to Season 3 of Stranger Things.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
That's cool. What are they going to be doing? Do we know?
Yes. No idea.
Oh, okay.
Just that they added them to the cast of.
Busey's going to be another kind of Gorgon, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
Some TV stuff. Roseanne is continuing to do strong. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend it. I'm really pissed at Riverdale because the episode this week.
I didn't watch it yet. I'm behind.
All right. All I'm just going to say is this. musical episode.
They always do one of those.
I hate that.
I hate musicals.
I don't mind musicals if they were meant to be musicals.
Right.
When you incorporate
like
it into
Cannibal
a television
musical.
show, right? Exactly. Of course, Cannibal the musical is what we think. That and Jesus Christ Superstar. They're neck and neck. So yeah, Riverdale did a musical episode within a musical that they were doing at school for Carrie. So. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like musical within a musical.
Musical within a musical? All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like my nightmare.
I got so mad watching the whole thing.
Is that Inception, the musical version?
Ugh.
Possible.
Who came up with that conception of it?
Lost in Space on Netflix.
That's
I've
nothing
seen the
to-
two episodes so far.
Okay, Giddles, have you seen anything?
I have seen nothing of it.
All right, you need to watch that.
Yeah, I'm on episode 4. It's one of those
I heard
shows.
it's good.
Yeah.
I didn't
It's
know what
great.
I didn't know what to think of it, especially because of the trailer. You saw some changes. You
Yeah.
saw different things. I'm like everybody. I don't know. That's changing too much. Am I going to like this? I plowed through the whole series this past weekend. Amazing. I'll wait till next week's for you guys to catch up because there's some things I'd like to talk
Sure.
about in there.
Oh, perfect.
But yeah, it is really good. The overall story arc is very dark.
Oh, yeah.
It's not campy like the television show. It's not confusing and stupid like the movie was.
No.
This is its own thing, and
The design on the robot is brilliant. It's so good.
It
well,
is-
the movie
it's
was
nuts.
just Joey in space.
Well, that was the funny thing. We were talking about it last night. I was like, there was Lost in Space movie. My friends were like, no, there wasn't. I'm like, yeah, Matt LeBlanc was the star and Gary Oldman was the supporting character.
Yeah.
Matt
like-
LeBlanc was Don West.
Like, who would think that would ever be a movie?
Yeah.
Joey in space.
Yeah.
It was not good.
Whoa.
But watch it. It's on Netflix. Even if you didn't watch the original series, it doesn't matter.
No,
Go and
no.
watch it. It lays the groundwork for the concept, what's going on. Slight different origin points for some of the characters.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's no surprise that Judy is part of the family, but not originally from the family.
Right.
So I think in the second season they do explain.
Oh, they don't tackle that in season 1 at all?
Oh, did I just spoil something?
No,
Oh,
I don't
shit.
know. I don't care.
Okay.
I assume that they would.
Yeah.
They don't explain other than all right, forgive me, but other than she does state in one of the 8 or 9 in there that she was the product of the mom's previous marriage.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine.
So,
Whatever.
but we don't know who
Got
the
it.
dad is.
Sure.
And that could come to play somewhere down
Sure.
the line. Who knows? But yeah, she was born. From what I gather, she was born from the previous marriage. The dad left.
Right.
This guy, what's
What's his face?
Father Robinson's
Yeah.
name? Whatever. Father Robinson comes in.
Father Robinson.
Father Robinson comes in and was dating, the mom for a while and got married.
Right.
Adopted her as his own, and then they had their own
Right,
kids
right.
and
Yada,
what have
yada,
you.
chaos ensues.
So if you're wondering why the daughter doesn't look like the rest of the family, there you go. But it's not one of those changes where it's like they just have to multiculturalize the cast because they have to change.
No,
things.
they wrote it into the story.
It's
Good
a
for them.
different angle, but it could make sense down the line. They didn't change it just for the sake of changing it.
I mean, it's 2018. That kind of thing is like common.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Netflix shows that gets me is if I can just let it keep rolling,
Yeah.
because since you can watch them in succession, like, it's a good show. And all of a sudden I was on episode 4, and I only just started it yesterday. I'm like, okay, I'm hooked.
Yeah, the problem is the 1 hour episodes are I can't sit through like more than 1 or 2 at a
love
time.
them.
It's hard.
I love
like
them.
Santa Clarita Diet. I started season 2 and I blew through half of it while eating a sandwich and drinking a beer, and I was like,
Was
holy
it good?
shit. Yeah, it's just as great as the first season.
Oh, good.
It's 20 minutes, half hour.
20, yeah, it's like 23 minutes
That's
or
what I'm
whatever.
doing
Oh,
with
I love those episodes. You fly through a season in like 2 hours.
Yeah, in like 2 hours. Yeah, it's brilliant.
I've finished season 1. I never got to season 2 yet. I'll have to go.
Yeah,
and take a
I
look
just
at
started
that.
it myself.
But that's the homework for everybody. If you
Yeah.
can, watch as much as possible of Lost in Space, because I definitely want to discuss it next
for
week.
sure.
There's a lot to go
deal.
on with there. Giddles brought to my attention during the break the show on NBC that stars what's his name from
Glenn Howerton.
From Always Sunny in Philadelphia, AP Bio. He plays
Yeah.
this.
Oh, yeah.
He plays this Harvard. I don't know if he was a professor or whatever he was.
He's
got
a
a PhD.
professor.
All right, he was a professor. He has a PhD from Harvard. Fell on a string of bad luck, self-inflicted, jealousy of a rival who got the book deal and the girl and all this stuff, and he crashed hard. He's now just this teacher in Toledo, Ohio, who's supposed to be teaching AP Bio, and he refuses to do it. Every class he's trying to get the kids to figure out ways to destroy his friend Milo and ruin his life. Patton Oswalt plays the principal on the show. It's it's in the vein of, I'd say, like Community.
I was going to say, it sounds like Community a little bit.
It's in that
vein. You know what it is? It's like an NBC tamed down version of Eastbound and Down.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
That's like the best way to describe it, because he's not a bio teacher, he's a philosophy teacher. And like, so he's like, these kids want to learn biology, and he's sitting there, he's like, your homework tonight is to catfish the other professor, and like, I want you to write out how you're going to catfish him. Right. And then everyone has to like bring in their proposal of how they plan to catfish this guy, and it's like really ridiculous, but it's just, that's like the premise of it. And it's like all these nerdy kids, and they want to learn.
Yeah, they're trying to get him to teach them biology, and he refuses to do it.
It's called AP Bio?
He comes in hungover. He's trying to, in one episode, he finds out, because he comes to this town, his mom died. So he inherits her house, and he's living in her house. Right. He hasn't changed her house. He's wearing her bathrobe, you know, when he's walking around the house. It looks like an old lady's house. One episode, apparently she had a boyfriend that she never told him about, and it's played by Michael Gross, who was Stephen Keaton on Family Ties.
Okay.
So he shows up at the door looking he has these balloons and a huge box of condoms, and he's looking, he's horrified, like, what are you doing? And he's looking for his mom, and he's like, she died, and now he's breaking down. So he's mad that his mom had a boyfriend that she never told him about. So this episode was him plotting revenge by finding out who his daughter is and going to have sex with the daughter in order to make him jealous. And they wound up having a fist fight over her grave in the graveyard.
All right.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, he's very much just Dennis from It's Always Sunny, just playing a philosophy teacher who's supposed to be a biology teacher.
All right, I'll try to see. I wonder if it's on
Hulu.
Hulu.
Patton Oswalt's the principal. There's like other, like, you know, the other teachers are pretty funny in it too. There's like the teachers who are in like teacher jail where they have to like sit for like the year or whatever, and they're just giving him bad advice. He's like, I got this kid who's bullying this other kid. He's like, what should I do? They're like, you're not separating them, but you got to keep them together at all times. And he's like, oh, that's a really smart idea. The kids just get beat up every episode.
It sounds like the R-rated version of School of Rock, but instead of teaching them music, he's teaching them revenge.
And there's like this fat nerdy kid who plays the saxophone, and he's just like, I'm gonna play Baker Street when they walk in, and they're all like, what's Baker Street? He's like, you know Baker Street. And then like the end, like during the credits, he's like playing it in the hallway, like all smooth and stuff. It's pretty funny.
There's one thing where he comes in, he goes, all right, kids, change of plan. He goes, get out your phones. The kid's got a phone. He goes, all right, I guess the other professor's name is Milo. He goes, all right, Google Miles' name and put pedophile. I want you to doing this all through class. And then they're doing it for a while, and then one kid goes, I just researched this, and it says the Google algorithm takes 8 months to adjust. He's like, damn it, that's not fast enough. So it's
pretty funny.
Yeah, it's a good show to check out. We did Riverdale, Lost in Space, blah, blah, blah. Rick and Morty you wanted to bring up.
Oh yeah, so Rick and Morty has the worst fandom ever.
It does.
They're just completely and utterly toxic. And I'm almost at the point where it's like, if Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland were just like, you know, we're not doing it anymore, fuck you guys, I'd almost be like okay with it. So what happened this past week was in an episode of My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic.
What? You're watching My Little Pony?
I was not, no, but I saw this. I saw the article on Nerdist.
Okay.
There's an episode, and in somewhere in the episode, they're at like a party or something, and in the background at the party is a Rick pony and a Morty pony. They don't say anything. They don't do anything. They're just there in the background. Now, My Little Pony has done this before. There have been other pop culture characters that have appeared on the show either in a significant role like they did with the Doctor Who one, right? Or just in the background. Because clearly whoever's writing the show is just a pop culture fan.
With it.
Yeah, and that's fine. So, of course, the Rick and Morty fandom blew up. Oh, this is terrible. They would never be on Rick and Morty. But Rick and Morty. But and so, you know, the article that I happened to read, which was the Nerdist article, was like, yeah, but on the show, there's infinite parallel universes with infinite possibilities.
Right.
So it's entirely possible that Rick and Morty, there could be a pony universe.
Right.
And then they also played a clip of the interview from years ago with Justin Roiland, where he's like, you know, all those fan theories, just assume they're true until they're not. Right? So until we say they're not true, we'll just go with it.
We're just taking the ideas.
Yeah. And they also showed in I'm sorry, did you
go ahead.
They also showed a clip in here, other links to other shows in Rick and Morty, and where it has kind of popped up elsewhere. The one that stuck out to me was Gravity Falls. So there's so Justin Roiland and Alex Hirschfield, I think is the gentleman who created Gravity Falls, are friends in real life.
Okay.
They both worked in animation. They both do voice work. Justin Roiland did some voices on Gravity Falls for the final 2 seasons. In the final season, there's a scene where Grunkle Stan and his brother, who are the 2 leads on Gravity Falls, they create this portal to another dimension.
Right.
And he's testing the portal. And he's just throwing shit through it to see what happens. And he throws like a coffee mug and a book.
And then a note comes back saying, "Please do not throw your garbage into our universe."
So they splice that together with one of the episodes of Rick and Morty where they're standing there and they're surrounded.
Council of Ricks.
The Council of Ricks.
Is
And
hunting them.
There's like 10 portals and they have to choose which portal to go through. And in the background of the portal they're choosing to go through, you see the book and the mug come through the portal.
It's very well done.
And it's
awesome. Yeah.
And it's like it's a subtle. It's just a subtle nod.
If you didn't know to look for it, it would have been.
You'd miss it.
I was telling Matt before the show. It's like that last scene of Cloverfield where you're at Rockaway Beach and you're just looking out over the ocean. If you're not really paying attention, you don't see the thing come screaming down from the sky and land in the ocean.
Yeah.
It's so far off in the horizon, you don't notice it unless you know you're staring at it. Same thing with this. You got to look in the background there where they're all talking. It's distracting you, but you just see the book and the everything else fall through the portal.
So it's I thought that was
love
funny,
that shit.
but I just don't understand why that fandom has become so toxic. Because what happened was they also started going after like bronies, and then like it became like homophobic, and like
it didn't make sense because when Matt's telling me this story, I said, "Oh, you mean like the moms or the parents of their kids who watch My Little Pony were complaining that Rick and Morty were in it?" And he says, "No, the Rick and Morty fan base was complaining that they were in it."
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you love and hate something so... I worked on Opie and Anthony, so never mind. I understand. But the fact that they're complaining this much about these things, you want this property that just only recently started getting big in the last 2 years to be everywhere as possible before the fandom dies out and then you don't have it again for a while. And they're destroying it as it's happening.
Because they're acting like petulant children. That's what I don't get. Like, what? First of all, your reaction to this should either be, "Oh, that's kind of cool," or there should be no reaction to it. It's a blip on your radar and it just goes away. To get angry at it and to go like to get toxic about why? To beat up people in McDonald's over Szechuans, like why? What is wrong with you?
Because they're idiots.
As a person. Anyway.
Another spinoff of Rick and Morty we didn't get a chance to talk about because I'm not a D&D person.
Yeah.
I never have been. But I know Matt has dabbled in it. I know Kev's really into it. But there's a Rick and Morty Dungeons and Dragons crossover.
Yeah.
What is that about?
It's going to be in the comics, so it's not the animated series. And Rick and Morty end up in a universe that's the Dungeons and Dragons universe. So they're going to be fighting beholders and liches and all that. It looks great. It looks really funny. And I mean, I played D&D all growing up. I played D&D. I watch Critical Role now every week. So I mean, like, I like that stuff. And they've dabbled in fantasy before in Rick and Morty.
Critical Role is Dan Harmon's thing?
No, that was that's
that was on Seesaw.
That's Harmon Quest, which I don't think has come back. No, Critical Role is the one on Geek and Sundry.
Okay.
With the guys who voice a ton of... They're all voice actors from like cartoons and video games and stuff.
Overwatch.
And, So I got to tell you about one of the Matt Mercer things after the show, Giddles, that I think you'll appreciate. But so I think it's going to be really funny. I like the comics in general anyway, the Rick and Morty comics, so I'll definitely check it out.
The final thing.
So speaking of, hold on, I wasn't here last week. Did you mention the Justin Roiland cartoon from Charity from Hilarity?
Played it. We played it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I've showed that to at least 20 people because of Matt's reaction to it
Yeah.
last week, and trying to see if people would have the same. Yeah, there's a lot of the same reaction.
Yeah.
To that.
This is new video to us. I've never seen that video in my life. I don't know what that is.
I'm telling you, I was right on board. I was
just gonna say,
until
like-
the close up on his asshole. That's where they lost me.
I was just.
That's
gonna
where
say,
they
like,
lost
that
me.
It could be some CGI.
What was it called? The apple dumpling caper?
Yeah.
The Apple Stand Caper from 1998.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I did want to derail. I just didn't know.
No, that was great. Look at this. Look at this. Do you ever think you'd see your big brother doing this?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was disgusting and disturbing.
Show him what you got.
Yeah, show him how big a savage you are, or whatever he says. Oh, it's just.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's that,
I'm an
but
animal.
also the final tie-in. I know Giddles wanted to talk about this because he liked it. I didn't. The April Fool's Rick and Morty-ish version they did on Adult Swim, where it was all in Australia. Well, do you remember what it was called?
The Bushwick.
It was like Bush
Chronicles
World.
or something? Yeah.
Well, because
It was like Bush World or something.
There's a new show coming out on Comedy Central or on Adult Swim called Bush World or whatever the name of that show was. And I guess they thought it would be funny to debut the show and tease the whole Rick and Morty April Fool's gag like they did last year where they gave us the new episode.
Yeah, Bush World Adventures.
Yeah. I haven't watched it, but I've heard it was terrible.
I hated it.
Yeah.
Fun fact, the town in Australia that where Rick and Morty takes place in Bush World started getting harassing phone calls from Rick and Morty fans, like complaining about their town.
Of course.
There you go. So fuck Rick and Morty
everywhere.
fans. Fucking assholes. Clowns. They're going to ruin it for everybody.
Catching up on things since I have a lot of free time, as you all know. I've never seen, and this is going to be that segment of things you'd think I would have saw, but didn't. I watched The Thing for the first time.
Oh, and two, the Thing is a remake.
Well, it wasn't a remake; it was a prequel.
Oh, okay.
Where I posted that I'm watching these two, and everyone's saying, "Don't watch the 2011 one. The girl doesn't make any sense in there, and this and that." I was like, "What? What is?" I'm going to watch it anyway. So I watched the first one, which was Kurt Russell, 1982, really good. And then the second one, which is 2011, is a prequel. If you're familiar with The Thing and you didn't see the prequel, it leads up to where the Norwegians are in the helicopter shooting the dog. Shooting the wolf, sorry.
Right.
Or husky. Shooting the husky.
Yeah.
And that movie ends with the helicopter scene. So anyone who's complaining that this remake was horrible or whatever, it was a different story. It was the story that happened, why that other camp was already destroyed and on fire, which you didn't know when watching the original thing. I thought, once I saw how it fit together, I thought both were great.
Yeah.
They were really good.
That's the thing. That's the thing I was saying on the Facebook. I was like, you watch it if you watch it the 2011 one first, like, yeah, it's not as good as the original thing, but it all makes sense linearly. Like, it totally makes sense. And people were like yelling at me, like, "Oh, you don't watch it in that order?" Or like, "That's sacrilege." I'm like, no, but it's cool. Like, it's actually kind of interesting because you see how well they did with the continuity in the new film to match the old film.
Right.
Like, they use like old computer graphics. Like, they show when it busts out of the ice, because in the 1981 version, you just come back and the ice is this broken out.
Right.
They show you it from in the ice and breaking out, so you see all that stuff. It's really cool. I don't know. Like, I thought it was fun.
Yeah. I thought it was great.
I'll check it out. I've never
Both
seen
were
that.
really
I
good.
never saw the prequel.
I'm going to rewatch Super Troopers for this weekend because I haven't seen it in so long, and I've been rewatching a couple of different Marvel movies for Avengers. I'm rewatching Doctor Strange and Guardians 2.
Yep.
Everything else, I pretty much got the gist of everything else there. Those two, I felt I needed to do another rewatch to get ready for Infinity War. And then also I realized I've never watched the Terminator movies. Now,
like none of them?
None of them.
Holy
now here's the thing.
shit, dude.
It's always
I'll
open.
see you guys next week.
It's always
Guys,
open.
I will see you.
Yeah.
It's always open till debate to debate because
You're
everyone
terminated.
says don't watch these other ones or whatever. I'm watching the first one. I'm watching the second one.
I feel like I thought everybody had at least seen T2.
I will watch the third one.
Apparently, he's never had the USA Network on ever.
Yeah.
No, I've never. Look, I've seen clips here and there. I've never sat down
For
and
the
watched
record,
the movies.
I didn't hate the third one. That was the one with Christina Loken or whatever her name was.
And
right?
Arnold was
fell
back
asleep.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
So
impressive.
I'm going to sit down, and I know a lot of you are yelling, but I want to sit down and watch these movies. And I'm enjoying the fact that all these movies that people have known and loved and I've never got a chance to see, I'm getting to see them now and experience
The
it.
other two are hot garbage. Genesis and the
Salvation.
Yeah, they're hot
I'm not watching
garbage.
those.
I did like the Sarah Connor Chronicles though.
That was the TV show.
That was
Fox?
the TV show.
Fox,
yeah, that one was pretty.
I
good.
heard something that they may be bringing another TV show back, or they're making another movie.
They're making another movie.
Right.
And they just cast the Terminator for it. It's Gabriel Luna, the guy who played Ghost Rider in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and a bunch of other things.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
He's. Yeah, I guess if you
And it
if you
also-
mock him up, I guess Arnold could look a little Hispanic.
He's not playing.
He's
Arnold.
not a T.
No,
he's not a T-800?
no. Arnold's coming back for this movie. It takes place directly after T2. This movie, so they're rewriting history again.
So T3 doesn't exist.
Well, I mean,
Correct.
that's the thing about Terminator. Is you
they
keep
can
going
rewrite
back
it
in
as
time
many
and
times as
rewrite
you
history.
want. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But have
the
you
most.
ever,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
have you ever seen the commentary on Terminator 3?
No, is it terrible?
Arnold does commentary on it,
Is he,
and
like,
it's so
drunk?
great because he's like, in this movie they're just going to be comparing 1992 body to my now body, and I think I look pretty good. Like it's just him like talking about stuff like that, and then like they'll cut to other actors talking, but when they cut back to him, he's like left off right where he was, so he's not even following the scene that's happening.
Yeah.
Like he's just battling, and like there's the scene where like the cop's breasts like enlarge, the Terminator cop, and he's like, "That was my idea. I thought it was pretty funny." Like it's great. Any movie that Arnold does commentary on, watch.
You
with
need
the
to watch
commentary.
if that's what you're gonna bring up. You got to watch the commentary for Conan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Total Recall. All
'Cause
three of
he's-
those, they're amazing.
It's like he's drunk or something in there.
Yeah.
He's slurring. He's talking about hitting on women, and it's a lot of fun. Watch the original Conan the Barbarian with the commentary on there, and just listen for Arnold. That's
or even just go on YouTube and just like Google little bits of the clips, and you'll want to watch the whole movie with it.
All right. With that, we have to wrap up for this week. Let's get some of the plugs out of the way. Matt OG, what do you have?
New episodes of Geek Stuff come out online every Thursday. You can go to patreon.com/BK Geek Stuff if you would like to support the show. And you can find me on social media at Geek Stuff OG.
Giddles, what do you have?
Gittle based on the Twitter, Instagram, and Xbox Live. Playing a bunch of Overwatch. They got a new 6v6 elimination mode. It's kind of fun. It's competitive if anyone wants to join. And this Sunday, I'm doing a taco takedown in Brooklyn. So if you want to come and try some tacos I'm making, come on out to the Brooklyn Bazaar Sunday from 12 to 2.
Where do they find the contact information for that?
Thetakedowns.com.
There you go. Plural, right?
Yep.
All right, thetakedowns.com. Trevor, what do you have?
At BTG Rocks on Xbox Live, Fortnite has added a whole bunch of new stuff. They're doing 50 versus 50 this week, but as of right now, we're recording this Thursday, all the way through Monday, PUBG is free this weekend. So I might switch over and try PUBG for a bit, see if I want to dabble in it.
I've heard good
shit,
things about
I
the
might do the same.
Yeah, you
If
want
it's free all weekend, I'll do it.
Yeah,
All right, I got nothing going on. I'll do that.
I got a pretty open Friday night.
All right,
Cool.
so do I.
You kids have fun next
I'm
week.
going to need something to cleanse the palate after watching the funeral procession and the greatest Royal Rumble out of Saudi Arabia. I'll need something else to do. For me, it's E-Rock Radio.
Either way,
across
it's going to be a lot of cheering Saudi Arabians.
E-Rock Radio across the board, social media. For the show, most important, it's Erik Nagel across the board. Go to that account on Twitter or on Instagram to find if you're listening on Friday, the last day of the eBay auction to help us out. We're raising money for studio upgrades and service upgrades and what have you. We've hit all the reserves, but it doesn't mean that it stops there. If you want to take a chance, there's some great items up there. Go and bid on those, please. We do appreciate it. And, bonus episodes. This past week, we had a bonus episode. I got a chance to talk with our old pals, Henry Gilbert and Bob Mackey from Talking Simpsons podcast.
Bob Mackey?
Exactly. Their Patreon's doing very well. They just broke 10,000 for per month, which is insane. They launched another podcast stream called What a Cartoon, where they're just going to break down episodes from all your favorite animated series. Doesn't matter from what time period. You feed in, they'll say, hey, can you talk about they did a Bobby's World episode. They're doing Futurama. They're doing King of the Hill, Steven Universe, like all these different things. They're just going to jump all over the place and find stuff that of importance or of interest to the audience. You break those down. That episode is up wherever you can find our show. Download that. You'll get this show, and then next week, another bonus show for you with Brian Johnson and Ming Chen from Comic Book Men. We're at the Secret Stash in Red Bank, New Jersey, and their other new studio, a shared universe, their big podcast facility that they just opened up. So you get to hear all about that. So a lot's coming in the next few weeks. So don't complain that you don't like what we're giving out because there's a lot of stuff and it's free. Okay,
Content.
All right.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get out of here. Until the next time,
Be excellent to each other.
and
Ooh.
we'll be seeing you.
It's Erik Nagel. And that's all the time we have. Follow the show at It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Unless we do something stupid or something better comes along. We'll be back next time.